CBS. Welcome home.
We've all imagined it in our backyard and on our Little League field.
Watson without too big of a lead at second, but he'll be running back to win if Johnson hits one. Backer throws. There's a long strike. A 40 has the lead. The Giants won the pennant. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the very back of the left field stand, and they're going crazy. They're going crazy.
It's the bottom of the ninth. The season rides on one pitch, and one swing will win it all.
Mark Ditbar throws. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep left, and they do it. Back to the wall goes Berra. It is over the fence, home run. The Pirates win. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's the chance to be the hero, to carry your team to the championship, as your idols had before.
Now the 2-2. Well hit down the left field line. Way back and Joe Carter with a 3-run homer. The winners and still world champions, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes, the dreams of little kids do come true, as was the case last year at the College World Series.
Now Warren Morris. It's a deep drive down the right field line. That ball is gone! LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris.
Today brings the possibility of more dreams fulfilled in Omaha. And once again this year, they expect record-breaking crowds at the College World Series at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. This city has hosted college baseball's premier showcase for 48 years, and it truly is an event that has gotten bigger and better. Today, it's first-round action at the College World Series between the Miami Hurricanes and the UCLA Bruins. The Hurricanes, the number 5 seed, the Bruins, seeded number 4. Certainly the weather couldn't be any better. Bright sunshine in Omaha, 78 degrees as we approach game time, and just a light breeze out of the northeast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the College World Series. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us. This is the 51st College World Series, and if you've watched this event in the past, you are familiar with the format of competition. Once again, 8 teams have advanced to Omaha. They are divided into 2 brackets in which they'll participate in double elimination play. Stanford, Auburn, LSU, and Rice comprise bracket 1. They got started yesterday. And today, the action begins in bracket 2 with UCLA and Miami. Tonight, the number 1 seed, Alabama, takes on Mississippi State. Yesterday, in the first game of the College World Series, Stanford beat Auburn as the Tigers struggled defensively, and LSU came from behind to beat Rice in the Owls' first ever game at the College World Series. I'm pleased to be joined this year here in Omaha by Fred Lynn, who participated in the College World Series 3 times for the University of Southern California Trojans and was on the winning team all 3 times. And Fred, you experienced the upside of the College World Series. Last year, the Miami Hurricanes experienced the downside, losing in the most dramatic finish ever here in Omaha, and they're trying to bounce back this year.
Yeah, Sean, I think the Miami experience, though crushing last year, they used that as a rallying cry this year. And Miami this year is led by Pat Burrell and J.D. Arteaga. Burrell was the MVP last year as a freshman of the College World Series, and this year has hit 400 for the 2nd consecutive year, while J.D. Arteaga is being back for the 4th time, and he is going to make his 6th College World Series start, which would ties the College World Series record.
Plenty of experience on the side, certainly, of the Miami Hurricanes. They're here for the 4th year in a row. But UCLA has nobody on their team with any College World Series experience, as the Bruins are here for just the second time in their history, for the first time in 28 years, and a lot of big bats in that Bruin lineup.
Yeah, UCLA is led by All-Americans Troy Gloss and Jim Parquet, both of whom are former Olympians. Troy Gloss hit over 400 this year with 32 home runs, and Jim Parquet had 13 wins with a sparkling 2.97 ERA. These guys have a lot of experience as well, and they are going to be formidable.
These two teams played in the regional finals last year. Miami won. UCLA is looking for revenge today. The first pitch in a moment.
The NCAA College World Series is sponsored by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes. Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. And by Nicorette Gum. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Back in Omaha, first round action between the Miami Hurricanes and the UCLA Bruins. And the Bruins, as the higher seeded team, will be the home team, and they are taking the field dressed in the home white uniforms. The starting lineup of the Miami Hurricanes. Ryan Grimmett leads off and plays center field. Bobby Hill bats second at second base. Jason Michaels is the right fielder batting third. The cleanup hitter, third baseman Pat Burrell. Aubrey Huff is the first baseman hitting fifth. The DH, freshman Lolly Escobar, bats sixth. Mike Lopez-Cow is the catcher. Mark Walker is in left field, and batting ninth, the shortstop Brad Brewer.
And the defense for the UCLA Bruins, John Heinrichs in left field. And in center field is Eric Valente, MVP of the regionals. In right field is Eric Burns. Over at third base is Jack Santora. At shortstop is the All-American Troy Gloss. At second base is Nick Theodoro. And at first base is Peter Zamora. Doing the catching today will be Casey Cloud. And on the mound, junior Jim Parquet.
As Fred mentioned, Parquet had 13 wins this season, entering the College World Series. 13-2, and one number that definitely jumps out, nearly a strikeout per innings pitched. 114 Ks in 115 innings.
Well, Sean, you know, he's got a nasty fastball. He's been clocked in the low 90s. He's got a wicked slider. In fact, they told me I wouldn't like to face him, so I know he must have a tough slider. Got an overhand curveball and a circle change.
For those who are not familiar with collegiate baseball, some of the rules differences between professional baseball and the way it's played at the collegiate level. Aluminum bats are allowed here, and you'll hear nothing but pings this afternoon. All the players must wear double ear flap helmets. Roadblocks are not allowed on the base paths, nor is the use of tobacco products. And the Weather Committee gets high marks here in Omaha. This city does a sensational job hosting the College World Series. Been here for 48 years and counting. Millions of dollars in improvements put into Rosenblatt Stadium over the years, and it seems this event will be in this city for many years to come. So the Miami Hurricanes trying to shed the memory of last year's excruciating loss to LSU in the championship game. They have Ryan Grimmett leading off. And the home plate umpire Jim Garman says play ball. First pitch from Parquet is a ball low and away to Grimmett at 333. Grimmett's a speedster, one of the nation's leading base stealers. Parquet wants desperately to keep him off base. Very slow, distinctive windup by Parquet. Check swing and a foul ball to even the count at 1-1. We told you that Jim Garman is the home plate umpire in his fourth College World Series. Al Davis, just call him safer out, baby, at first base. John Magnuson at second, and Dan Mascoro at third. Parquet's a junior from La Crescenta, California, in the San Fernando Valley. Velocity that Fred spoke of on his fastball. Surprising in that he's just 160 pounds, stands 5'10". There's the fastball just outside. Parquet's 21 years old. He expects to be drafted very high in Tuesday's Major League Baseball draft. He thinks he could be a late first-round pick from what he's been told by some scouts. That's again outside, and he's behind Grimmett. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, Sean, when we spoke to that young man, I don't think I've ever spoken to somebody that has more confidence in his ability to throw strikes than this young man right here. And he told us that if he throws a ball, he knows why he throws it, and then he can make an adjustment the next pitch.
And he will need to adjust as he has walked Grimmett on 5 pitches to start the ball game. This has become a hitter-friendly ballpark with some changes over the years. It's 332 down the foul lines here, 360 to the power alleys, and 408 to straightaway center field. The fence in center field is 10 feet high, and in left and right field just 7 feet high. But it was much higher than that. Warren Morris's home run wouldn't have gotten out of here last year. Bobby Hill, the batter. Grimmett with his 53 stolen bases at first base. He's been bothered by a groin pull in recent weeks and hasn't been running much lately.
Sean, that's a big part of the Miami Hurricanes game is a run and shoot. They don't have a lot of power like UCLA, and they need to have their team speed to be successful.
UCLA relies on the long ball. They've hit 140 home runs as a team. Miami only 81. But on the flip side, as Fred said, Miami has 144 stolen bases as a team, while UCLA has just 67. So contrasting styles in this first round matchup. Another ball thrown by Parquet to Hill. Grimmett second in the nation in stolen bases, 1 behind Clay Green of Tennessee, who has 54. But Volunteers did not qualify this year for the College World Series, so Grimmett has a chance to take over the national lead in steals. Borderline strike over the outside part of the plate. 1-1.
That's the kind of pitch that Parquet wants right there. I mean, he's been sitting up on that outside corner and just missing. And if he can get that call, he's going to be very effective because he likes to throw that slider down and into right-handed hitters.
And he's aware of Grimmett's base stealing prowess. Grimmett at first with nobody out, just underway in the top of the first. Hill's a freshman from San Jose, California. Bobby's batting .298 in his first year at the University of Miami. Parquet is making certain that Grimmett doesn't get far from the bag, much to the chagrin of some of the patrons here in Omaha.
Well, Parquet's picked off 4 guys this year, and he does have a deceptive move, but the best move, I think, is to hold the ball, and that's what he's doing on Grimmett.
Yeah, Grimmett going back to first as he threw that pitch to the plate. A good fastball swung on and missed. 1-2 now on Bobby Hill.
Here's the pitch to Hill. He doesn't look like a number 2 hitter trying to advance a runner. He looks like he's going for the downs right here. Had a 1-0 pitch and tried to get an early lead.
He has hit 4 home runs and has driven in 47 out of the second spot of the batting order, in large part because Grimmett gets on base a lot and gets into scoring position a lot with his stolen bases. RBI opportunities abound for Hill.
Well, we may not get a chance to see if Grimmett's groin pull is better or not the way that Parquet's holding him on over there.
Definitely slowed him down in the regionals. Grimmett was injured on May 4th, didn't return to action until the regionals on May 23rd. Parquet has a strikeout as Hill goes down swinging for the first out of the ball game.
Here you get a look at Parquet's fastball, and Hill's looking for the fastball. There's a cross seamer. You can see it, a 4-seam fastball. No movement, just plenty of velocity. Right on the outside corner, and Hill can't do anything with it.
The number 3 hitter is Jason Michaels, batting .411 with 14 homers and 87 runs batted in. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Michaels is in his first year at the University of Miami. As a junior college transfer, he played 2 seasons at Okaloosa Walton Junior College in Florida. Grimmett back to first. Michaels, the only JUCO player invited to try out for last year's USA Olympic team.
That would be a balk in the big leagues. I don't think I've ever seen a balk called here at the College World Series, but they get away, especially left-handers get away with liberties. As you watch his right foot, it's supposed to go towards first base when he throws over there. It's kind of sliding towards the plate a little bit.
Grimmett runs, got a breaking ball on which to run, and it was pulled foul by Michaels. And no noticeable hitch in the stride of Grimmett as he's recovering from the groin injury, and it's his left groin that's been bothering him. That's the leg he'd use to push off and start towards second.
Usually with a groin pull, I'm kind of an authority on injuries, but it's starting and stopping. You know, once you get going, it's not too bad, but it's the starting and stopping that really bothers you with a groin pull.
Time requested by the batter Michaels, granted by the home plate umpire Jim Garman. Jason's a junior from Tampa, Florida, out of Jesuit High School in Tampa, the same school that produced Lou Piniella, Dave Magadan, and Minnesota Twins pitcher Brad Radke, among others. Just outside, 1-2.
I think Casey Cloud, the catcher for the Bruins, brought his new glove because every pitch that comes in there is really popping. I mean, we can hear them up here. I don't know how hard Parquet is throwing, but it sounds hard.
And part of it is the outstanding work by our audio people with microphones all over Rosenblatt Stadium. Mentioned Casey Cloud, and one thing a little bit different about the UCLA approach to pitch calling is that Cloud calls all of the pitches. Many college baseball teams send in the pitch selections from the bench. Either the manager, coach, pitching coach will call the pitches, but not at UCLA. Fouled into the seats, still 1-2 on Michaels. We spoke with Tim Leary, the former major league pitcher who's the pitching coach for UCLA yesterday, and he said that guy back behind the plate has a better idea of what's going on than we do from the dugout. He thinks Cloud is outstanding at pitch selection. There's Leary, former academic All-American at UCLA, pitched for 10 years in the major leagues. Breaking ball in the dirt. Grimmett takes off late after he saw the pitch in the dirt, and he is out. Cloud threw him out. The second baseman, Theodoro, applying the tag. Now 2 down to the bases empty in the Miami first.
Well, this is one of the reasons that Casey Cloud is in the lineup. Not a great hitter, but a wonderful receiver and has a very good arm. He blocks the ball nicely, doesn't try to catch it, keeps it in front of him, and shows a very strong and accurate arm, nailing a very fast runner in Grimmett.
No score in the first inning. The 2-2 pitch bounced foul into the UCLA dugout. Michaels, the Miami leader in runs batted in hits, doubles, at bats, total bases, and extra base hits this year. He's second on the team in batting average, homers, triples, and slugging percentage, as well as on base percentage. He had a terrific first season. Pat Burrell, who hits behind him, told us yesterday that Michaels has done everything for the Miami team. It certainly seems that way when you examine his stats. Full count now. One of the great stories of this College World Series, Gary Adams. It has taken him 23 seasons as UCLA head coach to reach the College World Series. He's had a number of great players and outstanding teams over the years, but never could get past the regionals. Last year lost in the regional finals to Miami in Austin, Texas. Borderline pitch, ball 4. And Michaels is aboard with the second walk of the inning, given up by Parquet.
Here's a look at the pitch, 3-2 pitch, and Parquet does not want to throw one down the middle. He just misses that outside edge as Casey Cloud tries to frame that ball, kind of bring it back into the strike zone for the umpire, but the umpire wasn't biting that time.
Now Pat Burrell, one of the best hitters in the nation, sophomore, batting .425 with 21 homers and 73 runs batted in. Foul ball straight back. There hasn't been a fair ball yet in this game. 2 walks, the strikeout, and the caught stealing. Michael's a threat to run. He has 12 stolen bases. He's only been thrown out 4 times. Parquet to the plate. Inside to Burrell. As Fred mentioned, Burrell was the most outstanding player here at the College World Series last year, despite the fact that Miami lost to LSU in the title game. He hit .500 here in Omaha last year, 7 for 14. 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. Time requested by Burrell and granted by Jim Garman. Last year as a freshman, Burrell became the first freshman to win the NCAA batting title when he hit .483. He told us yesterday this year he's not seeing as many strikes from the opposing pitchers. They're working around him. He's walked a lot. He set the school record with 80 walks. Jim Morris, the coach, told us he has people all the time asking what's wrong with Burrell. If hitting .425 is something to be concerned about or considered a down year.
What a slump. Bench him. .425 and everybody's wondering what's wrong with him.
He's from Boulder Creek, California. Went to high school in San Jose. He's the third baseman. The shortstop Brewer and the second baseman Hill are also natives of Northern California. The 2-1 to Burrow. Down and in. Some control trouble here in the first for Jim Parquet. There is no score. The Hurricanes have Michaels at first with 2 outs.
Well, you can see what Parquet's trying to do. If he's going to miss, he's going to miss off the plate. He's not going to miss towards the middle of the plate, and that's what he's doing. He's just missing inside or just missing outside. And with Burrell, they're trying to pitch him in, and that's really the proper way to do it when a guy's big. You don't want to let him extend his arm, so he's trying to rush that cutter or that slider in on his fist.
Now the 3-1. Close pitch, called a strike, the full count with 2 outs. Michaels will be running.
Sean, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of game Garmin calls, because if he sets up inside and calls that outside corner all day long, then the pitchers have to make that adjustment as well as the catchers and just sit out there.
It's a battle of 2 left-handed starters. J.D. Arteaga will make the start for Miami. Michael runs strike 3 on the outside corner. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Jim Parquet after a half inning. No score at the College World Series. After a half inning here at the College World Series, no score. The UCLA Bruins getting ready to bat for the first time this afternoon. They have John Heinrichs, the left fielder, leading off. Eric Burns is the right fielder, hitting second. Troy Gloss, the shortstop, bats third. The cleanup hitter, the center fielder, Eric Valent. Peter Zamora is the first baseman. Nick Theodoro, the second baseman, hits sixth. Jack Santora is at third. Chad Matoyan is the DH, and the catcher, Casey Cloud, will bat ninth.
And the defense for the Miami Hurricanes, Mark Walker gets a start in left field today. Ryan Grimmett is in center field. And in right field, the regional MVP, Jason Michaels. Over at third base, the All-American Pat Burrell. At shortstop is Brad Brewer. At second base is freshman Bobby Hill. And at first base is Aubrey Huff. Doing the catching for the Canes is Mike Lopez-Cow. And on the mound, senior left-hander J.D. Arteaga.
Arteaga 11-3 this season, the 3.27 earned run average, more hits than innings pitched, but he throws strikes, as you can see. Just 29 walks allowed in 123 2/3 innings. Not a hard thrower, as those of you who've seen him participate in the College World Series before know.
Well, all he knows how to do is win, and that's what Jim Morris told us at our meeting the other day, is that this guy, you know, he may get in trouble, but he knows how to pitch out of trouble.
Parquet worked so slowly in the top of the first that during the half inning, Arteaga went back down to the Miami bullpen to get some additional warm-up tosses in. Here's John Heinrichs leading off. Breaking ball for strike one. Heinrichs batting .366. Dramatic increase in his power numbers this year, his senior season. 28 homers, 79 runs batted in. Hits that on the ground down to first. Aubrey Huff plays it himself, one out.
Six, Eric Burns. Right.
That brings up Eric Burns at .330, 17 homers, 57 runs batted in. Those numbers helped earn him first team All Pac-10 status this season. The Bruins had 7 players on the All Pac-10 first team. That's a UCLA record. Arteaga in with strike one. Burns is a junior from Portola Valley, California, 21 years old. Arteaga missed outside. JD features the fastball, curveball, slider, change, 3-finger changeup. He told us yesterday. Says it's the 4th different type of changeup that he's used in 4 years. Constantly tinkering with that pitch. Bobby Hill, the second baseman, to Huff for the out. Quickly 2 down on a couple of ground balls. In the bottom of the first, there is no score.
Well, that's a real nice sign for JD that he's getting the ball hit on the ground. Because with this Bruin ball club, you can beat them, but you got to keep the ball in the ballpark. And if his fastball is sinking, has a little sink to it, and gets those ground balls, he's going to be in business.
Now Troy Gloss, the Pac-10 Player of the Year with his .413 average. School record 32 homers and 88 runs batted in. No score, 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the first.
Here you get a look where JD stands on the rubber. He's on the far left side trying to create an angle. He throws almost sidearm, so the ball really moves outside, and he's trying to run that ball away from the right-handed hitters to create the greatest angle. That's very unusual for left-handers. Usually they're on the other side where Jim Parquet is.
And he's just barely on that third base end of the rubber. Another ground ball under the glove of the third baseman and shortstop. Burrell had the first crack at it. Then Brewer watched it go past, and Gloss has the first hit of the ball game.
This is what we call a C&I grounder. Everybody has a chance for it, but nobody can quite get to it. This is the what they say, the luck of a 400 hitter. Used to be a 300 hitter, now it's a 400 hitter.
And Gloss occasionally steals a base. He was a perfect 10 for 10 in stolen bases this year. He's at first with 2 outs. In the first, no score. Here's the cleanup hitter, Eric Valent, at the plate. He was out ahead of the off-speed pitch. Valent batting .348. 27 homers, 91 runs batted in. It's another borderline move.
Well, JD has an excellent move, even if it is a quasi balk. But he has picked off 4 guys this year, and he will keep runners close as well.
Laurent popped it up in shallow right. Second baseman Hill out, battling the sun. Just did come up with that pop up to end the inning. After 1, no score. The College World Series in Omaha. This is the 5th meeting all time between Miami and UCLA, and Miami is a perfect 4-0, including the meeting in the regional finals last year. Some great players over the 51-year history of the College World Series participated in this event, including Barry Bonds and Barry Larkin. Bonds at Arizona State. Larkin was here for the Michigan Wolverines. Deion Sanders brought the Seminoles here, 1987. Terry Francona, now the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, played here at Rosenblatt for the University of Arizona. All went on to prominence in the National League. This event has changed a lot, even in the time since those gentlemen played. Fred, you played just a few years before the 4 we showed, and you were talking yesterday about the dramatic changes that we'll discuss as the ball game goes along. Here's Aubrey Huff, a sophomore first baseman, to get the second inning started in a scoreless ball game. Facing Jim Parquet, who walked 2 and struck out 2 in the first. Drops the off-speed pitch in for a strike. "24 pitches already, 23 of them in the first inning." Parquet works slowly. Everything about his action on the mound is slow. The delivery is slow. The time between pitches lengthy.
Well, he's deliberate. There's no doubt about that. And he throws a pretty good curveball right here to Aubrey Huff, and he definitely checks swing. But I thought the pitch was a strike, just regardless of the fact that he swung or not.
Now it's a 1-1 to Huff, just outside. But how about some of the changes since you played and the way it's going now here in Omaha?
Well, the field dimensions, number one, it used to be 420 to center and about 390 in the alleys. The fence was taller. There were no stands out. There was a 10-foot fence all the way around. Plus the fact that we had to use wooden bats. It was a real pitcher's tournament in those days. It was pitching and defense that won you national titles. Now it is an offensive tournament. And when you get good pitching, everybody goes, "Whoa, wow, what was that? A quick game, a 2-hour and 15-minute extravaganza," you know, instead of 3 hours and 35 minutes. But those are the biggest changes. The fact that the field is smaller and they use aluminum, and the guys are bigger and stronger. No question about that.
Here's the 2-2 from Jim Parquet. Assisted foul down the third baseline. Well, there is a look at the USC team that won the national championship in '72. And who's that handsome young fellow?
I don't know, but obviously I wasn't very happy that we won.
You couldn't.
I was supposed to be in the center of the frame. What happened?
Fred Lynn, as we mentioned at the outset, a perfect 3 for 3. He's here 3 times. His Trojans won the College World Series on all 3 occasions. USC has won this event more than any other school, 11 times, 10 under the legendary coach Rod Dato, who gave the welcoming speech at the opening banquet here Thursday night. The players on the 8 teams really enjoyed what Coach Dato had to say. He's selected the all-time coach on the 50th anniversary College World Series team, which was announced last year in commemoration of the 50th College World Series. Foul ball, still 2-2 on Huff, a leadoff hitter in the second in a scoreless ball game.
This is a good at bat for Huff. He's seen every pitch so far that Parquet has, and he's hung tough in there. And that he may or may not get a hit this time, but at least he's seen everything he has for the next time he comes up.
Some of the fans down below beginning to express their displeasure with Parquet's pace.
If he was thrown to Mike Hargrove, we'd never have a pitch.
Certainly, as we mentioned, he expects to be a high draft pick on Tuesday, and he's already working at major league pace. And Tim Leary, the pitching coach, who would know, having spent 10 years working in the major league, says Parquet could pitch in the major leagues this year. He thinks that's how far along Parquet is in his development at age 21. Now the payoff pitch. That's low. Another leadoff walk. He walked 2 last inning, but the strikeouts and the caught stealing helped Parquet work around those walks in the first. Miami Hurricanes hosted the Atlantic Regional at Marklight Stadium, won their first 2 games in the double elimination format. Then they went to the brink of elimination, losing to Arizona State. Any loss would have knocked them out of the road to Omaha, and they won 3 one-run games. Lolly Esquivel, surprise starter today as the DH. He's a freshman from Arlington, Texas. Has been platooning with Rick Sagisi, a left-handed hitter at DH. With the lefty on the mound, you would expect Esquivel in there, but yesterday Jim Morris indicated he might go with Sagisi because he has more experience playing in this pressure-packed situation. I mentioned the 3 one-run victories to make it to Omaha for Miami, and they had to win all 3 of those games. Against Florida, Manny Giacomino made a dramatic catch in the top of the 11th, then had the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 11th. And in that 7-6 win, the first of 2 games last Sunday against Arizona State, Jason Michaels capped a 5-run bottom of the 9th with a grand slam to keep them alive. It looked like they weren't coming back to Omaha. And they won the following game 6-5 to eliminate the Sun Devils. You asked a good question yesterday, the Miami players, if that home run by Michaels, the grand slam, was kind of a cleansing experience, almost the exact turnaround from what they suffered last year when Morris hit the College World Series winning home run against them.
You know, when we talked to Michaels about that, and he was so great to talk to. He was so happy and effervescent about it. I mean, he was just like a little kid.
Strike on the corner, 2-2.
But that certainly brought them back from the depths, because they were really down on their luck playing against ASU, and that just shows you the resiliency of this ball club. In any tight ball game, you know, they're going to have a decided advantage because they think they can come back from any situation.
Close play as Huff went back in standing. Jim Morris, the head coach, in his 4th season at Miami. He's the first coach in college baseball history to come to the College World Series in each of his first 4 seasons at a program. Foul ball. Still 2-2 on Esquivel. No score, 2nd inning. Jim Parquet tutored throughout his childhood by his dad, Richard, a former quarterback on the BYU football team. And there's Mr. Parquet.
All right. No, we clear.
In attendance watching his son. 2-2. He struck him out. So Parquet is going batter by batter. Walk, strikeout, walk, strikeout, walk, strikeout.
Well, Parquet is what we call effectively wild. Even when he has to come in there with a strike, the other players from Miami, they aren't able to get around. Here's a great curveball down and in on Esquivel, and he swings right over the top of it. As you can see, he's all over the strike zone, Esquivel is, and that ball just tied him up.
So Parquet has walked 3 and struck out 3. There still hasn't been a ball put into fair territory by the Hurricanes. Their 7th batter of the game is Lopez Powell, the catcher. Mike fouled one off to the left with Huff running from first with the pitch.
I'm a little bit surprised in that Lally was allowed to hit in that situation, maybe take advantage of some of this wildness, maybe have a guy bunt here and there, advance a runner into a scoring position. You haven't gotten a hit yet. No one is really swinging the bat well, even though that they've gotten a few walks. Try to get one run on the board anyway.
Jim Morris's concern might be that it's the bottom of the order coming up. But in college baseball, the guys at the bottom of the order still hit over 300 generally on teams of this caliber. Morris said the key to the College World Series as a coach is to coach the way you coach during the regular season. You start to change, your players sense it, makes them a little edgy. Part of the development of college baseball in recent years has been the era of the big ball. More and more teams play for the home run in the big inning. Part of that is the lack of quality pitching at the college level. Major League's desperate for quality pitchers. So many of these young men drafted right out of high school and turned professional, bypass college baseball. There's the first hit of the afternoon for Miami. Mike Lopez-Kyle, the catcher, with a single to right. Huff stopped at second, and there are 2 men on with 1 down in the second and a scoreless ball game.
Well, here's a pitch, and it's a high curveball. This is a hanger. Just the opposite of what we saw the pitch before that he struck out Esquivel with. And Lopez-Kyle just sneaks it into the outfield. You see how the ball almost stopped before it got to Burns. If you're a base runner, you have to take note of that because it took him another 10 steps to get to that ball. You might be able to advance. Outfield's very slow.
And the infield slow as well. A few areas in which the pitchers catch a break here at the College World Series. Mark Walker, freshman from Miami, playing in his first College World Series game. He has platooned in left field for the bulk of this year with Mandy Giacomino. Foul back to the backstop. 1-1 the count on Walker. Coach Morris says Mark is a great athlete, and he believes Walker's on his way to being a great player at Miami. Parquet missed down and in. We showed you Jim's dad a moment ago, Richard Parquet. Jim told us yesterday his dad realized when Jim was about 11 that he had a bright future in baseball. He asked his son if he wanted to pursue a future in baseball. Jim told him it had always been his dream to be a major league player. So they took on a spirited workout regimen. When Parquet was in high school, he'd practice with his high school baseball team from about 4:30 to 6:30. His dad would meet him at the field and bring Jim his dinner. They'd eat for about a half an hour, and then from 7 to 9 they'd work on baseball skills. Sometimes more pitching, sometimes they'd just stand on the field and discuss the mental aspect of pitching. That's a regimen that went on for a couple of years while Parquet was in high school.
Well, all that hard work has certainly paid off because he's probably the best left-hander in the country right now.
It's not a case of a pushy parent forcing his son into it. Jim wanted to take on that kind of a workout schedule, to have the best possible opportunity to become a major league player. 3-2 with 1 out. We'll see if Coach Morris has his runners on the move. Not a lot of speed on the base pass and a fine thrower behind the plate, so they do not run, and Walker strikes out on a pitch up and away.
Here's a case, Sean, where a hitter is anticipating a strike being thrown on a 3-2 count. He figures he's going to get a fastball with runners on base, and he does get a fastball, but it's out of the zone. In his anxiousness to get a strike and do something good for his ball club, he goes after a bad ball. You can see it's way up and away, and he tries to hold up as he recognizes that it's a ball, but he just can't do it.
So a big break for Parquet. Here's the number 9 hitter, the shortstop Brad Brewer, batting .286 with a homer and 32 runs batted in. Borderline strike on the outside corner. No score. 2 men on with 2 outs for Miami in the visitors' half of the second. Huff, the runner, at second. Lopez Cow at first. Brewer takes a ball up and away. Brad's a junior from Fairfield, California. We mentioned the Northern California connection around the Miami infield. Brad's in his first season at Miami as a junior college transfer from Sacramento City College. He joined the Miami program in January. One pitch way outside.
You get a look at the third baseman Jack Santoro of the UCLA Bruins. Almost a late inning defense as he's guarding the line. A tremendous gap between he and his shortstop Troy Gloss. And for the number 9 hitter to be up there, you don't normally play him that closely to the line in this situation.
Outfield shifted around toward right. Ball 3 high. Marte is really struggling with his control. He had walked 57 in 115 innings coming into this game. He's thrown 50 pitches already today. Nearly half of them balls. The 3-1 pitch. Fly ball to right. Eric Burns is there, and that ends the inning. The Hurricanes strand 2. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series will continue after this message and a word from your local station. No score, bottom of the second. UCLA at the College World Series for the first time since 1969. Their road to Omaha came through the Midwest Regional in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They lost the first game to the Harvard Crimson, and it looked like, another disappointing end to a season for UCLA as one of the top-ranked teams in the nation. But then they bounced back with a throttling of Ohio U, handled Tennessee, earned revenge against Harvard, and then took on the hosts, Oklahoma State, in elimination games and throttled the Cowboys in both by scores of 14-2 and 22-2. So they come in here on a 5-game winning streak and with plenty of offensive momentum.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier, Sean. Is this is a team that has tremendous firepower, and if J.D. Arteaga can keep the ball on the ground like he's done thus far, they have a heck of a chance. But they got to get a key base hit.
Peter Zamora leads off the second for UCLA at .381 with 16 homers and 74 runs batted in. Moore is the first baseman. He doubles as the team's number 3 starting pitcher. All 3 starters for UCLA are left-handed. Tom Pacas, the other starter. Here are the numbers at the plate and on the mound for Zamora. 6-2 record on the hill with a 5.17 ERA and a couple of saves. Lined up the middle, a base hit. Second hit for the Bruins. Zamora, the lead man, on in the second.
Well, it's nice to see Zamora hang in there against this left-hander, and he gets a high slider and just slices it up the middle for a base hit. I'm talking to Gary Adams, and he said he can be unorthodox in his approach sometimes, Peter Zamora, but he gets the job done quite nicely.
Doesn't have the swing you'd use to sell hitting videos, but it is effective. And the Bruins have the lead man on for the first time as they face J.D. Arteaga. Missed just outside with ball 1. The number 6 hitter, Nick Theodoro. Nick is batting .362, 6 homers, 47 runs batted in. And you'll see him take a lot of pitches. His teammates say he has the best eye in college baseball. Two 2-0 the count.
I thought CBS had the best eye in baseball.
That's true. Nick relegated to number 2 then. Walked 44 times in 58 games this year. Coach Adams said he'd be a fine leadoff hitter, but they already have one of the best in the nation in John Heinrichs. Theodoro's a redshirt junior from Rialto, California, coming off a great Midwest regional. He went 16 for 24 in those 6 ball games you saw a moment ago, and had 9 hits in the last 2 games, the wins over Oklahoma State.
There's a throw to first, and they really, that throw right there is just to see if Theodoro might be bunting. But with the firepower that the Bruins have, I don't believe that they're going to be bunting too much in this tournament.
Mora not really a threat to run. One stolen base this year. He's been thrown out once. Because they do play for the long ball, the Bruins almost never sacrifice. 15 sacrifices all year as a team in 65 games. 2-2 now on Theodoro.
Well, Theodoro's going to have to make the adjustment because he's thought the last two pitches were outside. But Jim Garman's been consistent. He's calling that outside pitch, and he's given that pitcher about 2 inches on that corner. So the hitters are going to have to make the adjustment.
Little looper down the right field line. That could be a problem. Michaels charging hard and can't get it. Zamora on his way to third as Michaels fires it back into second base. It's a blue base hit for Theodoro. And the first 2 men are on for UCLA in the second inning.
This is a nice piece of base running by Peter to Zamora. As Theodoro hits a kind of a dork out into right field, Zamora takes a look at the right fielder, sees that he can't get the ball, and hustles over to third base easily.
Three hits now for the Bruins, all singles. And the best chance for either team to score, first and third and nobody out. Vince Berengeli, the third base coach. And some words of advice for Zamora. Here's Jack Santora, the third baseman, hitting .398. 2 homers, 16 runs batted in. Seeing a lot of lofty batting averages. The Bruins hit .339 as a team.
I mean, even their subs hit .350. I mean, the guys on the bench are saying, well, why can't I play? I'm hitting .350. Not good enough, kid.
Fouled off his foot. And that foul ball off the foot caused for concern for Santora. He fractured a bone in his foot on February 23rd of this season and did not return to action until April 22nd. You can see the protection on that left foot.
You know what, John? You put that protection there, and invariably the ball finds a way to hit where there's no protection. And you can see it hits on the inside of his foot. Oh, ow.
He's in the hole 0-2, and that's a base hit through the right side. UCLA leads 1-0 as Zamora scores from third. Arteaga made a mistake with the count 0-2. He gave Santora a pitch he could handle. And Jack picked up his 17th run batted in of the year in his 28th game.
Another nice piece of hitting by the Bruins as Jack Santora gets a 2-strike pitch. It's up in the zone. Doesn't try to do anything with it. Pulls his hands in. You can watch him pull his hands in here in a defensive mode in a little inside-out action. Working the ball to the right side. Scores the run. Bruins are in business.
Runners at first and second as Theodoro stopped at second. Chad Matoyan, the DH. It's an excellent bunt to throw to third. And they got him. Theodoro did not get a good jump away from second base. And Arteaga quickly off the mound had the short throw as it was bunted down the third baseline by Matoyan. We mentioned they don't sacrifice very often. Maybe this is an example of why.
Well, it's very hard to deaden the ball with these aluminum bats, and J.D. Arteaga gets off the mound very quickly and gets help from his catcher, Mike Lopez-Cal. Told him to throw to third base, and they just nipped him. And you're right, Theodore didn't get a very good jump at second base at all on that bunt.
Runners at first and second now with 1 out. Santora at second, Matoyan at first. That might be an example of what we were talking about. Jim Morris mentioned yesterday. You have to coach the way you've coached all season. There's Matoyan at the plate, a .323 hitter. UCLA has only sacrificed 15 times all year. They have 3 base hits in a row off Arteaga. Maybe a chance to have a big inning and knock him out early. And yet they play for a sacrifice. Wouldn't seem to make much sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense because he's your DH. I mean, he's in there to hit. He's not a fielder. He's a hitter. And plus, he's hitting 8th in the lineup. For your number 9 hitter to come up there, a left-hander against a left-hander, a tough situation anyway. Why not play for the big inning? Maybe Montoya, like you say, can to knock one out of here.
Casey Cloud, the batter. Number 9 hitter, the catcher. At 250, the weakest hitter in the starting lineup. But as Fred mentioned, he's in there for his defense, his ability to handle the pitchers and throw out runners. 1-0 UCLA, second inning. First and second and 1 out. A count of 1-1 on Cloud. Strike 2. Fan who meant business upon arriving at the ballpark. Fancy scorebook. Huge crowd again here today. Tough to find an empty seat around Rosenblatt Stadium. Off speed pitch just outside. Hopefully these folks have their sunblock with them, because the sun is beating down on them. The high 70s at the moment. It's expected to get up into the mid 80s here during the next couple of days. Championship game next Saturday here on CBS Sports. Ball in the dirt. Dug out by Lopez Cal. Full count with 1 out.
With the pace of this game, we still may be here for those high 80s during this game.
Cloud's in his first year at UCLA, batting with 2 men on. Santora at second, Matoyan at first. And he struck him out. Off speed pitch gets Cloud. That's the first strikeout of the ball game for J.D. Arteaga.
It's a good pitch by Arteaga. Little slider. Gets Casey Cloud thinking fastball on the 3-2 pitch. Casey's looking fastball, pulls his head a little bit, can't quite catch up to the slider, as he just can't quite reach it. Front side pulled out a little bit early.
Now 2 down. Still 2 men on, and it's the top of the order, John Heinrichs. For the second time in many innings, he grounded out to the first baseman Huff to begin the UCLA first. Bruins lead 1-0 in the second. In the air in center field. Grimmett drifts toward right to make the catch. And the Bruins might have bunted themselves out of a big inning. They settle for 1. They lead 1-0 after 2 in Omaha. Now Warren Morris hits a deep drive down the right field line. That ball is gone. LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris.
You know, it was a tough offseason because of that, I guess, you know. But the good news is we were in the national finals, and a lot of people would love to have been in that position. I think for us, we have to use it as a motivational thing to get back there to try it again. You know how when you were young you played overs? Well, we're ready to play overs and try it again. And I think if we get in that same situation again, we're going to win.
And we'll have that chance this year. When we talked with Jim Morris about that home run last year, he said, I was crushed. I was in the dugout designing championship rings. He thought Miami, with Robbie Morrison, their All-American closer on the mound, was on their way to their 3rd national championship and first under Morris. Coach Morris, that is, but Warren Morris, no relation, canceled the ring order. So the Hurricanes are back despite losing 13 players to pro contracts off that team of a year ago. Jim Parquet, first pitch and a long drive by Ryan Grimmett, but not long enough. Center fielder Eric Valent made the catch. Grimmett now 0 for 1. He walked, leading off the Miami first. UCLA has a 1-0 lead. Top of the order for the Canes here in the 3rd. Bobby Hill to bat next, and then Jason Michaels. Here's Hill, who struck out swinging in the first. One of 4 strikeouts for Parquet. He's walked 3. He's given up just 1 hit, a single. Bobby Hill was a 5th-round draft pick of the Anaheim Angels out of high school last year. He turned down a big bonus, reported to be nearly $500,000, to attend college at the University of Miami. That's bounced up the middle. Gloss a long way to his left, and he can't come up with it. Gloss has divided his time between short and third. He says he really has no preference as to which position he'd like to play. He has made a number of errors, 34. This one will likely be scored a hit.
Yeah, I don't believe that even though if Troy Gloss comes up with this ball cleanly, he's going to be able to get him. You can see he was already trying to pivot right here. He's trying to pivot before he makes the catch, and the ball hit him in the heel of the glove right there, and that's where you have no feeling, and consequently he didn't make the play.
It has been scored a hit. Gloss, tall and rangy at 6'5", over 200 pounds. There is precedent for shortstop that tall. And Ripken comes springing to mind. Troy says the pro scouts he has talked to are really 50-50 about where they see his future being at the professional level. Jason Michaels is the batter.
I was talking to a couple of scouts before the game, and I believe that he's going to go to third base.
Yeah, he seems with his physique to be better suited to that position. Ross says he's learned a lot about playing the infield from Doug DeCense, the former standout major league infielder. What Troy didn't tell us is that he dates Doug's daughter Amy. We found that out from other spies in the UCLA camp. Doug DeCense's son Tim was a fine catcher, turned pro after last year and left UCLA. Doug's been around the UCLA program a lot and continues to be, even though his son has turned pro. Tim DeCense, the only starting position player from last year who did not return to this UCLA team. So they had high expectations coming into the season. Michael sends it deep down the right field line, foul, and out of play. Burns nearly went into the stands. We were told a couple of stories about Burns yesterday. One was that in the game earlier this year with a 10-run lead, he tried to make a somersaulting catch into the bullpen against Arizona State. The Sun Devils were asking if he was crazy. And we were also told in the Cape Cod League last summer he got hit by a pitch in the jaw and waved the trainer away and ran down to first and stayed in the game.
Well, right there he tried to move the right field stance back so he could make the play.
Hill at first with 1 out. He's the tying run at first in the top of the third. 1-0 UCLA. Hill a definite threat to run second on the team with 39 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 13 times. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Parquet's working to the big bats in the Miami order now.
Well, Parquet has to be careful that he's not so concerned with the runner at first as pitching to Jason Michaels, because this guy here, you make a mistake and it could be 2-1 real quick.
Hill runs. The pitch is high for ball 4. So an infield hit followed by a walk. The 4th given up by Parquet. 2 men on with 1 out, and Tim Leary, the pitching coach, goes to the mound. Tim's in his first year as pitching coach at his alma mater. In addition to being an outstanding pitcher at UCLA, he was a great student. Graduated with a degree in economics, was an academic All-American in 1979. Spent 10 years pitching in the majors and was inducted in the UCLA Athletic Hall of Fame in '91.
At this point, I don't know if he's seen a mechanical flaw in Jim's delivery, or if he's just trying to settle his junior left-hander down a little bit. He's certainly not telling him to slow down his delivery.
No.
Usually that's what the guy's going. You're going too fast, you're rushing. I don't believe that's the case here.
As you mentioned, Parquet told us yesterday he believes he can correct mechanical flaws himself, because when the ball starts acting in a certain manner, he knows what's causing it to act that way. Tim Leary concurred. He said it's very rare that he has to offer mechanical advice to Parquet. Parquet is definitely not on top of his game here in the first couple of innings. Gotten away with the control trouble to this point. Now he's working to one of the best hitters in college baseball, Pat Burrell. Parquet got Burrell looking at a third strike in the first. Tough pitch, outside corner, evening the count at 1-1.
That's the pitch that he struck him out on, that same pitch right there, and Burrell still is not willing to make the adjustment to swing at this pitch. Now early in the count, he's going to let that go. Clearly that's marginal, but if he gets 2 strikes, he's going to have to go after that pitch.
And a miss by Burrell.
I'm not quite sure what Burrell's looking for in this pitch, because this ball's by him. The ball's caught almost by Casey Cloud before he gets around. I mean, I don't think they're giving enough credit to Jim Parquet's fastball. I mean, it's getting on him really quickly. He's kind of sneaky because he's so deliberate in his motion that it kind of lulls you to sleep, and pow, that ball jumps on you.
160 pounds, hard to believe he can rush it up there as quickly as he does. He's pitching with a 1-0 lead. UCLA has the advantage in the top of the third. 2 men on with 1 out. The runners go. Ball in the dirt. Cloud won't even try to throw. It's a double steal. And now it's Hill at third and Michaels at second, and a base hit could give Miami the lead.
Interesting play there with 2 strikes on the hitter, 1-2 pitch. The runners are going. Obviously, Bobby Hill stealing on his own, got a good jump, and Michaels just followed him along. But that's a very interesting call right there.
40th steal of the year for Hill, 13th for Michaels. Now the 2-2 to Burrell. Fisted foul to the right.
This puts Burrell in kind of an awkward position, because with first base open, Parquet doesn't have to throw him what Burrell is expecting. I mean, he can play with him here. If he walks him, so what? Keeps the double play in order, play at every base. I mean, here's one of the best hitters in the country. You're not going to throw him his pitch in this situation, I wouldn't think.
And the left-handed hitter on deck, and Aubrey Huff. Knowing Parquet as we do, based on the hour or so that we spent with him yesterday, hard to believe he'll pitch around Burrell. He's very confident. I'm sure he believes he's going to get this batter out.
Well, I guarantee you, if this was the 8th inning, he'd be walked right now. Casey Cloud would have his glove out, and we'd be seeing him walk down to first base. But it's early in the game, even though it seems later. But it's questionable strategy to pitch to this guy at best.
He is perhaps the best hitter in the nation. Led the nation in hitting last year at .425 this year. 80 walks this season, a Miami single season record in addition to the .425 batting average. Burrell also set the Miami on base percentage record this season at .594. In the dirt against by Cloud. Here comes Hill to the plate, and he will score to tie the ball game. And now the go-ahead run is at third for Miami.
Here's a case of Parquet. Looks like he's just trying to overthrow this slider down and in. And Casey Cloud tries to get in front of it, just can't do it. Tries to block it. You'll see it here. He just has no chance. The ball is thrown too hard and too much in front of him. He can't get his body in front of it to block the ball. That's a problem when you're trying to pitch around a guy.
It is a wild pitch. Charge to Parquet. Now Burrell spoils a tough pitch. Still a full count. 1-1 the score, top of the third. Michaels is the go-ahead run at third with 1 out. A lot of deep counts for Parquet. Burrell, the 13th batter he has faced. He's had a 3-ball count on 7 of the 13 batters. There's ball 4. Uncharacteristic control trouble for Jim Parquet today. He told us yesterday he didn't expect to be nervous. After all, he pitched in the Olympics in Atlanta last summer, was the youngest pitcher on the Olympic team at age 20. Pitched in front of crowds twice as large as the one he's pitching in front of today. But there is something that isn't quite right about Parquet today. 5 walks. Definitely out of character.
Well, all of those things are true, but this is for the national championship. This is a little different. I mean, I've represented my country on the Pan Am teams, and I know what that feeling is like. But when you're on this field here, it's different.
Aubrey Huff, the batter, with first and third and 1 out. 1-1 the score in the third. Huff takes a ball low. He walked leading off last inning and was stranded. Miami left 3 men on over the first 2 innings. Popped up along the left field line. Gloss makes a nice backhand catch, and the runners cannot move up. Fine play by Gloss, the shortstop, in foul ground for the second out of the inning.
Sean, you're exactly right. This is a tough play for Gloss. He's shading his eyes against the sun, ranging far to his right to get it. Now he stops the run as he realizes, and his third baseman's telling him, watch for the tag. Watch for the tag from first to second, the fake run, which would have been an interesting play if the runner from first breaks toward second to draw the throw to second base, and then runner from third advances. But he held the ball in check, running the ball in to the infield.
2 down. And the freshman Lally Escobar is at the plate. He struck out swinging last inning. Off speed for a strike. Escobar is the DH. Freshman from Arlington, Texas. Out of Lamar High School, where he hit .510 last year. Been platooning lately with Rick Sagisi, as we mentioned earlier, and Escobar must be doing a fine job because Sagisi was a freshman All-American last year. Now relegated to platoon duty with the freshman Escobar. Part of that a result of some knee injuries suffered by Sagisi this year. Well hit, but right at the second baseman, and Parquet gets out of the inning cheaply, allowing just the 1 run. 1-1 the score as we head to the bottom of the third on CBS. Back in Omaha, 1-1 the score. Heading to the bottom of the third as Miami battles UCLA. Next Saturday here on CBS Sports, the final 2 will battle for the trophy at the NCAA College World Series. It's the national championship game next Saturday beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time here on CBS Sports. 1 week from today, the winners of each bracket advance to that championship game. As I told you earlier, the 8 teams divided into 2 brackets. They play double elimination competition within the 2 brackets. And the winners of each bracket go head-to-head next Saturday for the title. Eric Burns leads off. First ball swinging against Arteaga. Fly ball in right center for Jason Michaels. 1 pitch and 1 out. Burns now 0 for 2. He grounded out in the first. That brings up Troy Gloss, who singled to left in the UCLA first. That was the first hit of the ball game for either team. For the junior from Carlsbad, California. Arteaga missed outside. Terrific season and a terrific career for Troy Gloss, who set the single season and career home run records at UCLA. He's also the all-time Pac-10 leader with 60 home runs, breaking Paul Carey of Stanford's record. He's also set the UCLA run scored record for a single season with 98 runs. The record was 83. So he shattered that record set by Torey Lovullo, who went on to Major League Baseball after scoring 83 runs in 1987 for the Bruins. He also had the home run record for UCLA with Torey, who played for the Detroit Tigers. Gloss was the starting third baseman on the United States Olympic team, which won the bronze medal in Atlanta last summer. He hit 4 home runs at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium during the Olympics. J.D. Arteaga, Juan Diego Arteaga, senior from Miami, 6'2", 215 pounds. Considered by their pitching coach, Laser Collazo, as the greatest pitcher in the history of the Miami program. He's their all-time leader in starts and in wins. Today making his 71st career start. He's already won 43 ball games. His 2-2 pitch way outside.
You know, you watch this guy pitch, that he does not have one outstanding pitch, but he mixes up his pitches so well that he keeps all these hitters off balance. .43-8 lifetime, breaking Neil Heaton's record for career wins at Miami. Heaton went on to the big leagues at 42. Pop up in left center. Mark Walker, the left fielder, with a catch. 2 up and 2 down in the UCLA third in a 1-1 ball game. Sean, this is the kind of inning that Parquet needs. A couple easy outs, breeze through an inning or two, because his pitch count is going to get such that they're going to have to get him out of the ball game. He gets over 100 pitches in the 5th inning.
Parquet will be floored if the pitches continue to pile up. Eric Valent, the batter, he popped out to the second baseman, ending the 1st inning. I think the biggest surprise so far is that it took us 3 innings to get the Parquet floor reference in. Nice play by Huff, the first baseman, on the smash by Valent. A 1-2-3 inning for Arteaga. 1-1 the score as we head to the 4th. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series will continue after this message and a word from your local station. One the score here in Omaha. Over the years, these fans have seen many great players who went on to stardom, including Albert Bell, who was Joey Bell when he played for LSU in the 80s. Rafael Palmeiro, part of a great team at Mississippi State. That included Bobby Thigpen, Will Clark. Ed Sprague of Stanford was here twice. He went on to win World Series at the Major League level with the Toronto Blue Jays. And Will Clark, part of that team with Palmeiro in '85. Mississippi State Bulldogs, who returned to the College World Series this year. Had a tough time finding a place to stay as the number 8 seed, wound up across the river in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and that city has adopted the Mississippi State Bulldogs as their team. Coach Ron Polk got the key to the city. 4th inning. Mike Lopez Cow leads off against Jim Parquet. Lopez Cow single to right in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. One of the 2 hits given up by Parquet. The other was an infield hit by Bobby Hill last inning. I mentioned contrasting styles for these 2 pitchers. Marty Aronoff, our statistician, tells us for his 3 innings on the mound, during which he's surrendered 1 run, Parquet's been on the mound for 45 minutes. and has thrown 72 pitches, while J.D. Arteaga, who's allowed 1 run through 3 innings, has been on the hill for only 19 minutes and has thrown 40 pitches. Two and one the count.
We're going to have to tell Jim that you don't get paid by the hour in the big leagues.
He anticipates being a high draft choice on Tuesday, and no question he intends to sign and begin a professional career. 3 and one the count.
Sean, I was watching him in between innings warm up, and he was working on his mechanics, as he told us. You know, he was trying to figure out where his release point was, and to me, flat looks like he's just overthrowing. He hasn't thrown one straight changeup all day. He's thrown a couple slow curveballs, but he just looks like he's trying to overpower him.
Loop toward the second baseman and caught by Theodoro for the first out of the inning.
Here you get a good look at the motion, slow motion of Jim Parquet. Everything looks good there. He's real tight, shoulders square. He comes out. He's right over the top. Good finish. I mean, everything looks picture perfect right there.
Mark Walker, the batter. Ball one just low to Walker.
That you don't get paid by the hour in the big leagues.
He anticipates being a high draft choice on Tuesday, and no question he intends to sign and begin a professional career. 3 and one the count.
Sean, I was watching him in between innings warm up, and he was working on his mechanics, as he told us. You know, he was trying to figure out where his release point was, and to me, flat looks like he's just overthrowing. He hasn't thrown one straight changeup all day. He's thrown a couple slow curveballs, but he just looks like he's trying to overpower him.
Loop toward the second baseman and caught by Theodoro for the first out of the inning.
Here you get a good look at the motion, slow motion of Jim Parquet. Everything looks good there. He's real tight, shoulders square. He comes out. He's right over the top. Good finish. I mean, everything looks picture perfect right there.
Mark Walker, the batter. Ball one just low to Walker, who struck out swinging in the second. 1-1 the score in the fourth. And a strike.
John, it's going to be interesting to see, as the pitch count mounts up, how his velocity is affected, because they still haven't hit a ball hard off him.
Good breaking ball. When you talk about Parquet's mechanics, and Tim Leary was singing the praises, in particular Jim's balance. He said yesterday that Parquet has Baryshnikov type balance on the mound. Little pop up shallow right. Burns charging hard to make the catch. That's 4 in a row retired by Parquet now. 2 down in the fourth. The game tied at 1. UCLA in the College World Series for just the second time. They've never won a College World Series game, while Miami has 32 CWS victories. Only Southern California, Texas, Arizona State, and Oklahoma State have won more games in College World Series play. Over the last decade, it's here at Rosenblatt Stadium, at which Miami has played more games away from their home park than any other park in America. They play the Florida rivals every year, but they played more games outside of Mark Light Stadium here than at any other ballpark.
Here's another example of the speed, the quickness at which the ball gets up on these hitters. I mean, they're constantly being fooled on these high fastballs from Parquet.
Brad Brewer, the number 9 hitter at the plate, he flied to right in the second. He's a JC transfer. His double play partner Bobby Hill, a freshman. They had to replace the combination of Rudy Gomez and Alex Cora at second and short, respectively. Two of the great infielders in Miami history who left after the runner-up finish of a year ago. Parquet looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. He could really use it with a pitch count piling up. Brewer wouldn't chase it. 2-2.
Here's our defensive position again with Jack Santora. I think he's having a conversation with Dan Mascaro there, and they're getting to be quite close friends every time Brad Brewer comes up. Again, we have that 9th inning defense in the top of the 4th.
Again, the outfield shifted around toward right, and the ball goes in that direction. Second baseman Theodoro struggling with the sun, makes the catch in shallow right. Parquet has a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the bottom of the 4th in Omaha. The Canes and Bruins tied at 1. One the score heading to the bottom of the 4th here in Omaha. And here is the exclusive announcement of this year's National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association All-American team. You're looking at the first team. Lance Berkman of Rice with 41 home runs, the first baseman. Pat Burrell of Miami, the third baseman. Berkman selected as the National Player of the Year at the Collegiate Baseball Writers. 134 runs batted in for Lance Berkman of Rice.
It's certainly hard to argue against those kinds of statistics.
Rice, a tough loss last night. They had a 4-2 lead, only to watch LSU, the defending national champs, come back and win 5-4. Peter Zamora, the leadoff hitter for UCLA, bottom of the 4th in a 1-1 game. Slow roller up the middle. Bobby Hill throws him out. Zamora is now 1 for 2. He singled and scored the Bruin run in the second. Nick Theodoro on fire with his 1 for 1 today, a single to right in the second. He now has 13 hits in his last 15 at bats. Mentioned during his first at bat that he was 16 for 24 in the regionals. Included in that a string of 11 consecutive plate appearances during which he reached base with 10 hits and a walk. Arteaga missed low and away. 1-0.
You know, Sean, Arteaga is really the kind of pitcher that will give a power club a lot of trouble because he throws a lot of off-speed stuff. He doesn't try to overpower anybody, and that's what power hitters want. They want a guy that's going to try to throw it by them all the time so they can juice up. But this guy keeps changing speeds, changing locations, and so far, we haven't seen any of the power that UCLA has brought to the College World Series.
140 homers for Bruins coming in 65 games. 1-2 now on Theodoro. Nick was an outfielder prior to this season. Made himself into a good second baseman. Got the chance to play second base due to the illness of Matoyan in the first game of the year. They opened the season out in Hawaii. Chad Matoyan, the returning starter at second, was all set to play that position again this year, but he came down with the flu. Coaches were nervous about Theodoro. He made 4 errors in their last intra-squad game before opening the season. He played very well in Hawaii, made some outstanding plays. Held on to that job. Matoyan now the DH. Look out. Grimmett came charging in. Then as he put the brakes on, he nearly slipped and fell. And that sailed over his head with Grimmett on his backside. Theodoro is going to run a long way. It's the second out of the inning.
You can see Grimmett laughing about this, but there's really no laughing matter. It's the toughest play for a center fielder. A ball hit right at you, and the reason is you have no depth perception. The ball's coming at you. You can't tell if it's going to sink or rise above you, and you want to hold your ground until you can find out where the ball's going to go, and he made a good play.
First ball swinging, Jack Santori hit it to short. Brad Brewer threw him out, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Arteaga. So the pitchers are starting to settle in. It's still 1-1 after 4. Heading to the 5th inning here in Omaha. 1-1 the score as Miami takes on UCLA. A distinctive southern flavor to this College World Series, as there are 4 teams from the Southeastern Conference here in Omaha this year. Alabama, the #1 seed, joined by Auburn, which lost to Stanford yesterday. LSU, the defending national champs, and Mississippi State has returned this year. It's the first time in the history of the College World Series that one conference has placed 4 teams in the field of 8, and all 4 from the West Division of the Southeastern Conference. So historically, you talk about divisions within leagues, professional level or the collegiate level, that's about as good a performance as there could be by a division ever in any sport. This game is settling into a pitcher's duel. J.D. Arteaga has retired the last 9 UCLA hitters, and his opposite number, Jim Parquet, has set down 5 in a row. Relatively low pitch count for Parquet last inning as he worked his first 1-2-3 inning. Needed 14, but he's nearing 100 in the 5th inning. Brian Grimmett is the leadoff hitter. Top of the order for Miami in the 5th. Grimmett takes a breaking ball, backdoor for a strike. Brian walked in the 1st and flied to center in the 3rd. Number of highlights this season for Grimmett, including a 28-game hitting streak, the longest in school history, breaking the record of 23 set by his teammate Jason Michaels earlier in the year. Noted earlier, he's 2nd in the nation in steals, 1 behind Clay Green of Tennessee. By far his best offensive season at Miami. He's a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio. Knock on Ryan coming into this year was that he wasn't the typical leadoff hitter with a high on base percentage. Didn't hit for a high average, didn't walk much. He's changed that this year. The 1-2 from Parquet. Foul to the plate. And one of the appealing features of a trip to Rosenblatt Stadium, the picnic area outside. Those folks enjoying a beautiful day here at Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium. This year they added that word Omaha's top of the sign just to let folks around the country know we're in Omaha if they didn't know it already. Now the play to the right. They do have an evening session here tonight. Alabama to take on Mississippi State in the final 1st round game. They'll have to clear the ballpark, get all these people out, and bring the new crowd in. The length of this game, they might have to do all of that very quickly. High breaking ball, and Grimmett missed it for the 1st out of the inning, and the 5th strikeout of the ball game for Parquet.
This is, you know, you think of a hanger of breaking ball as being a ball like this. Well, actually, this ball is so high, it is a hanging breaking ball, but a hanging breaking ball is one that's about thigh high. And it's so unusual for somebody to swing at a ball like this. It looks so good to hit, but you don't usually hit it or you pop it up.
1 out of the base is empty in the Miami 5th. 1-1 the score. Parquet deals to Bobby Hill, a base hit. Hill's 2 for 3. He has 2 of the 3 Miami hits. He scored their run back in the 3rd, and they have an outstanding base runner at 1st with 1 out.
Well, Hill jumps on the first pitch he sees, a fastball. One of the few fastballs that have been right down the middle. Hill has this one timed perfectly as he wraps it into left field for a base hit, and perfect opportunity to get a runner going right here, one of your best base stealers.
Part of a double steal in the 3rd. He swiped his 40th of the year. He moved to third. Michaels went to second. Jason's at the plate. He has walked twice and stolen a base. Was stranded at third in the third, and the Hurricanes squandered a great chance to take the lead. Ball and a count of 2-0. 2-0 and a late swing fouled out of play to the right. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Michaels, as we mentioned, the hero of the Atlantic Regional for Miami. He had a 9th inning grand slam to cap a 5-run comeback against Arizona State. Game 1 of Regional Championship Sunday. Last Sunday at Marklight Stadium in Miami. They were down 4 heading into the inning. Won 7-6. Michaels the 7th batter of the inning.
Here you get a look at where Peter Zamora is standing and holding on the runner. He's in front of the bag, which cuts him out down the time where the ball gets to him and allows the first baseman the opportunity to tag the runner before he gets to the bag. 2-1
fouled out of play to the right. Interesting, we chatted with Jason Michaels yesterday about the grand slam. He knew that he was going to be the 7th batter of the inning. He was just hoping for a chance to hit. And when he went up there, he wasn't trying to hit one out of the ballpark, just wanted to get a base hit to keep that inning alive. He hit a grand slam to give them a 7-6 win. He's had a lot of 9th inning heroics this year. A game-winning homer against Florida State on May 3rd. A game-winning double to beat Florida February 21st. Throw the first drop by Zamora. Parquet tracks it down about 10 feet from the bag.
That's a nice hustle by Jim Parquet to get over there, because Zamora lost track of that ball, and Hill had a chance to get to second base if he doesn't find it. You know, Jason Michaels will get pitches to hit with a guy behind him, and that, you know, should be noted as well. When you have a guy hitting 400 behind you 2 years in a row, you're going to get some pitches to hit.
And that was a key on that grand slam against Arizona State in the elimination game. The count was 3-1, and Michaels said he knew he was going to get a fastball because Burrell was on deck. He did, and he lined it out of the ballpark. And there's a deep drive down the left field line. Hooking toward the pole, it is gone. A home run. A 2-run homer for Jason Michaels, his 15th of the year. As we mentioned, he has the knack for hitting them in big spots, and this one has given Miami its first lead of the ball game.
Well, maybe a little bit too much attention paid to Bobby Hill at first base as Michaels gets a ball on the inner half of the plate. As he'd been working him outside with a fastball all day long, but he didn't fool Jason on this one as he tried to crowd him, and he was waiting for it, and he killed it.
So the bases are empty now with 1 out for Pat Burrell. Breaking ball in the dirt. Burrell has struck out and walked. Out of play to the right. With that 2-run homer, Jason Michaels now has 10 runs batted in his last 3 games. Part of that, the grand slam we mentioned against Arizona State. Now knocked in 89 runs this year in 65 games. 1-1 to Burrell, just missed. In addition to being one of the best players in the nation, Burrell, a fine student, honor roll student at the University of Miami, GPA of 3.1, business management major. Ball 3. Tim Leary on his way to the mound again. The home run by Michaels has given Miami the lead, and here's a look at that home run we mentioned in the regionals.
Wait, the heat is on. Bradley, the pitch, swung on, line drive, way back to left center. Back, back, back. It's gone! It's gone! Hurricanes win! Oh my! A grand slam for Jason Michaels with one out in the bottom of the ninth, and the Canes win it!
Oh, baby, indeed. Jason Salatkin with the call on the University of Miami student radio station. Terrific call by Jason for WVUM. And Burrell walks for the second time. Parquet has walked 6. And Michaels, the dramatic homer to keep Miami alive in the regionals. They won the deciding game 6-5 against Arizona State after Michaels' heroics forced that deciding game. Parquet over 100 pitches with 1 out in the 5th inning. 3-1 Miami. Burrell at first with 1 out. Aubrey Huff tees off of the first one, lifts it to center, well hit. Eric Valent just in front of the warning track with the catch. Not much of a breeze, but what little breeze there is might be knocking balls down to that part of the ballpark, and that seemed to help Parquet there. Tomorrow, 2 flyweights go toe-to-toe as Mark Johnson takes on Cecilio Espino. Then from Sky Dome in Toronto to track and field heavyweights battle to see who is the world's fastest man, as Michael Johnson goes one-on-one against Donovan Bailey. The action begins at 4 Eastern time tomorrow.
I can't wait to see that. I like Michael Johnson in that race. I'd love to sit there at the tape and just see how fast he comes across that finish line.
Well, back in your day, you would have given them a run for their money as well.
Yeah, that's right. If I had if I run half the distance.
Lolly Esquivel is the batter. 0 for 2. The freshman DH. He takes a strike on the corner, evening the count at 1-1.
You know, speaking of speed and guys that can run, I remember Bake McBride. If you hit a ground ball to short, it almost was a double. I'd like to see a guy like that run against some of these guys.
They have the runner picked off first. Burrell in the rundown. Gloss to the first baseman Zamora, and they execute the pickoff. And that ends the inning. 1-3, 6-3, the pickoff of Burrell. The home run by Michaels has given Miami its first lead of the ballgame. And CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series will continue after this message and a word from your local station. (3-1) Miami with the lead on the homer by Michaels. As we are halfway through the ballgame, Sean McDonough with Fred Lynn in a new press box here at Rosenblatt Stadium. This beautiful part of the ballpark debuted last year, and I know this is the first time you've worked in this press box, and it rivals any major league facility.
We have more room to work with up here than I've ever seen at any place that I've ever worked. I mean, compared to what we had before here, I mean, this is just a major accomplishment down here in Omaha.
Millions of dollars in renovations made here. The folks in Omaha determined to keep this event in this city, the 48th largest city in the country. It's hard to imagine it anywhere else. Been here for 48 years. The improvements continue. Chad Matoyan, the leadoff batter for UCLA. Bruins trail for the first time in the ballgame. Bottom part of the order up. Matoyan, the 8th hitting DH, to be followed by Casey Cloud and John Heinrichs. against J.D. Arteaga, who was set down 9 in a row. Rare battle of senior versus senior in college baseball. Tough to keep seniors in college baseball. So many of them leave after they are drafted following their junior year. Arteaga and Matoyan each around for their senior season. Chad bounced one to second. Bobby Hill, smooth freshman, threw him out. 10 in a row for Arteaga. Been one of the great seasons in UCLA history, perhaps their best. Certainly it's been their winningest. 45 victories, breaking the school record of 43 set in 67 and 79. They've shattered the record for runs scored in a season and for doubles and home runs. Gary Adams said when the season began, our goal is to win the national championship. He had 8 returning starters among the position players, 7 pitchers back, and he felt they had a great shot to make it to Omaha for the first time in his tenure, and they have.
You look at those numbers and you really have to appreciate the job that J.D. Arteaga is doing, because they average almost 9 runs a game. He's held them to 1.
And the home run ball, the story of the season in college baseball, and that's been a trend that has begun within the last few years. Certainly the home runs, the story of last year's CWS. But not so far this year. The bats, the big bats, been relatively quiet. The aces of the staff starting these 3 ball games, and they pitched well. Arteaga continues to breeze along. His strikeout of Cloud is the second out of the 5th. Second strikeout for Arteaga, both at the expense of Cloud.
Well, Casey Cloud, you know, he's having a little bit of trouble hanging in there against this breaking ball. You can see him. Ooh, there goes the front shoulder, and he's gone. This is what happened to him in the first time. This is a very big breaking ball. Breaks almost around first base. Very hard to stay in there against that kind of a pitch.
John Heinrichs, a line drive to deep center, and Grimmett gliding back to make the catch. Required a little leap at the end. That might have reminded some of the locals of a guy named Fred Lynn, circa 1972. Another 1-2-3 inning, and still a 3-1 lead for Miami. College World Series on CBS. Been a great relationship for 10 years. And the coaches for these programs talk about how the coverage of this event, which has grown dramatically over the years thanks to ESPN and CBS, really added to college baseball and the ability to recruit nationally. New pitcher for UCLA. Another lefty, Tom Hawkes, into the ball game. Ordinarily a starter, but in today to relieve Parquet. Hawkes with outstanding numbers. He was first team all Pac-10 selection this season. Matter of fact, there were only 4 pitchers on the all Pac-10 team. You've seen 2 of them, Parquet and Hawkes. Lolly Esquivel was at the plate when Burrell was picked off, ending the Miami 5th. The Canes bat in the 6th with a 3-1 lead. Hawkes to be greeted by Esquivel, Lopez, Cow, and Walker. First pitch from Tom is a strike. Not the best outing of the season, certainly, by Jim Parquet. Uncharacteristic control trouble. He walked 6 in 5 innings. Gave up 3 earned runs on 4 hits, including the Michaels homer. He struck out 5, threw a wild pitch, threw 106 pitches. That foul ball looked like it was coming right into your living room. 0-2. This will make you flinch.
Look out.
Esquivel 0 for 2, trying to reach base for the first time. Fouls that out of play to the right. Parquet in 5 innings through 106 pitches. 58 of them strikes. And if UCLA is going to have success here in Omaha, they'll need to use him again. So they're trying to limit the pitch count for Jim Parquet today. Right up the middle, a base hit. On an 0-2 pitch, the freshman Esquivel has his first hit ever at the College World Series.
Well, this is not what you want to have happen when you first come into a ball game. Have a ball hit right through the wickets. You can see Hawkins is not really good fielding position to get that ball, as it came whistling by his legs.
Esquivel at first. Lally has stolen 3 bases this year. He's been thrown out once. The bunt a possibility. Lopez Cow turns to bunt and fouled it off. Mike Lopez Cow, a senior from Miami. Great story. His family came here from Cuba on a boat, and they were allowed to leave by Fidel Castro in 1980. Jammed onto those boats that were overflowing with people trying to escape Cuba and get to the United States. Mike was 4 years old. He has a younger brother, Andrew, who's a pitcher on the Miami baseball team. He's also on that boat with their parents, Miguel and Teresita. Mike didn't speak any English when he got to this country. And not only did he learn the language at the very early age, but he is an outstanding student, has graduated already from Miami. Graduated in 4 years with a degree in psychology. He told us yesterday if he doesn't have a future in baseball, he wants to pursue a master's in industrial psychology. It must have been a harrowing experience for his family to come across those waters from Cuba on the boat overflowing with people. Mike said his parents told him several times, because he doesn't remember the trip, that there were a couple of occasions where he nearly fell off the boat. That would have been a less pleasant experience.
It's just a great story.
And it was obvious that Coach Morris has tremendous affection for Lopez Cow. He was a guy with the bullpen catcher each of the last 3 years, played very little. It started only 10 games prior to this season in 3 years at Miami, and he wasn't expected to be the catcher this year. They lost their starting catcher to academic difficulties. First player in Morris's 4 years at Miami, lost due to grades. Then they had a highly touted freshman catcher, Russ Jacobson, who injured both knees early in the season, so that created the opportunity for Lopez Cow. And he's had a very good senior season. The 2-2 to him. Chop foul into the Miami dugout.
This is the kind of player that probably won't have a pro career, but will take the memories of Omaha, with him the rest of his life. And that's why some of these games are so important to these people, because they're not all going to be major league players.
Mike getting a chance to participate now in the College World Series after serving in the bullpen. Jim Morris said yesterday, when you're the bullpen catcher, you really get beat up for 3 years, because you're warming up the pitchers, and the pitching coach is always hammering into the heads of those pitchers, keep the ball down, so they're bouncing pitches in the dirt while warming up, and a lot of those bounce pitches getting a piece of Lopez Cow. He's been a great leader on this team, despite being a backup in recent years. The 2-2 from Hawkins, fouled away. How about that string dangling from the glove? Well, that must be a little bit jarring to the hitters.
Yeah, that's a little distracting. In fact, I noticed when he came out there and he was warming up, if I was a hitter or if I was somebody on Miami's bench, I'd call attention to the umpire, and he'd have to cut it. I'm surprised he doesn't wiggle it when he delivers the ball to the plate.
Lopez Cow battling, and now he drives the 2-2 to center, but up into the breeze, and Valencia's there. for the first out of the 6th inning. After today's game, jump onto CBS Sportsline. You can get all over the College World Series. A special stable of writers will have in-depth coverage. Plus, you can get involved in the College World Series chat. CBS Sportsline is the exclusive web source for the College Baseball Player of the Year Award and the '97 All-American team. It's all at cbs.sportsline.com. Here's Mark Walker, the left fielder. 0 for 2 today, has struck out and flied to right. Miami leads 3-1. Canes have Esquivel at first with 1 out in the top of the 6th. A bunt popped up just out of the reach of Casey Cloud. Tom Hawkes, the pitcher, is a redshirt sophomore, 6'2", 185 pounds, from Stockton, California. Plagued by injuries the last 2 seasons, injury-free this year, and he's emerged as one of the best pitchers in the country. That's off the mitt of Cloud and got away from him, even though it was a called strike. That will undoubtedly be a pass ball, and it's a big one. It gets Esquivel into scoring position with 1 out.
Well, here's the pitch. And Cloud, he tries to one-hand it. He just misses it. He flat out stone misses it. Tried to one-hand it. Maybe in anticipation of the runner moving. That's clearly a pass ball. A lot of time a catcher will do that when he's crossed up, but he didn't go to the mound, so you have to assume he just missed it.
Fastball, breaking ball, change up, the repertoire of Hawkes. Their third starter is the first baseman Zamora, so with Hawkes appearing in relief, that increases the likelihood that Zamora will be the starter in UCLA's second game of this College World Series. Pitching coach Leary wasn't sure yesterday when we chatted with him which pitcher would start game 2, but less likely to be Hawkes, one would surmise, with his appearance here today.
Well, that decision was kind of made for them because Zamora's in this game. It's pretty tough for him to warm up while he's in the game to try to come into this game. He's already in the game.
Swing and a miss at the high, hard one, and Walker goes down on strikes. The first strikeout for Tom Hawkes.
Well, Hawkes is supposed to throw a sinking type fastball, but I've yet to see one. In fact, this is just a cross seamer. So maybe he throws a 2-seamer as well, but that's a cross-seam fastball right by Walker. You can see it just doesn't quite get around on it. Tough to hit that high fastball. Like I said, it's right up in your eyes, and there's somebody who missed another fastball, but doesn't really care.
2 down now, 6th inning, 3-1 Miami. Strike 1 called to the number 9 hitter Brad Brewer. Joined us late. UCLA took the lead. 3 straight singles in the second. Miami scratched across a run in the first and then took its first lead on a 2-run homer by Jason Michaels in the 5th. Down to first. Well played by Zamora, and the leadoff single does not hurt Hawkes. Heading to the bottom of the 6th in Omaha. Still 3-1 Miami. Miami. Heading to the bottom of the 6th. J.D. Arteaga cruising along. He's retired 12 in a row. There have been some great pitching performances over the years here at the College World Series. Roger Clemens was here twice for the Longhorns in '82 and '83. Considerably slimmer back then. Jack McDowell here twice as well. Another Cy Young Award winner. He was here with the Cardinal in '85 and '87. Greg Swindell made 6 College World Series starts, a record tied by Arteaga today. J.D. making his 6th College World Series start, tying Swindell and Kendall Carter of Arizona State.
You know, there's one pitcher that we didn't get to look at, and one guy that I faced was probably the toughest guy that we did face when I was here, and that was Dave Winfield. You know, not many people know that he used to pitch. In fact, he struck out 29 guys in 2 games here. He was very tough.
Eric Burns is the leadoff batter in the 6th inning. Did you face him?
I faced him, and we weren't doing very well against him. He had struck out like 16 guys in 8 innings, and they were ahead 7-0. But fortunately, we pulled out an 8-7 win. We got 8 runs in the bottom of the 9th to nip him.
I assume Winfield was not in to give up all 8.
No, actually, they moved him to left field and wanted him to come back into the game to finish us off. But for some reason or another, he didn't want to do that.
Strike. 2-2 now on Burns. Coach Adams told us yesterday Burns very similar to Heinrichs, the leadoff hitter. Burns bats 2nd in the order. He said they're really interchangeable parts. That's down the right field line. Just foul. Didn't appear to be more than a foot foul. Just foul. Al Davis made the call.
Here's a shot by Burns down the right field line, and Al Davis was out there and had a perfect angle on it. This is a tough angle for us to see with this particular shot, but it does look foul.
It was.
Sean's further left than I am, so he had a better angle.
These umpires here on merit, just as the teams are, they are the best in the nation.
And it's a feather in their cap to be here.
And they've worked the game without incident today. Al Davis at first base in his 2nd College World Series. Another well hit ball, to base hit. So the lead man is on for UCLA. 5 hits now for the Bruins. They get the tying run to the plate, and their big bat coming up, Troy Gloss.
Well, you'd think it would only be a matter of time before the Bruin hitters start to figure out JD. He stays on this sinker and just drives it up the middle, which you have to do against a sinker baller. He stays right on top of that ball. JD wanted that ball a little bit further away than it got, and he drove it up the middle.
Burns at first, nobody out. Home run would tie it. And a home run hitter is at the plate. Troy Gloss has hit 32 home runs this year. That ties Mark McGuire's single season Pac-10 record. And he broke Paul Carey of Stanford's career Pac-10 record with 60 home runs. Carey at 56. Ball in the dirt. Nice dig by Lopez Cow. 2-0 on the All-American Gloss.
Gloss had 32 in 1 year. I had 28 in my career. That's kind of putting it in perspective.
Borderline strike delivered by Arteaga. Coach Adams told us yesterday he expects that Gloss will be the 3rd player selected in the upcoming Major League Draft next week. Anaheim has that pick, and he thinks the Angels grab Gloss. Double play ball to short, and the Canes turned it. Huff just did keep his foot on the bag. 6-4-3 Brewer, Hill, and Huff. 2 outs and the base is now empty in the UCLA 6th.
This is tailor-made. JD gets that slow breaking ball. Gloss tries to pull it, hits a routine ground ball to short. 6-4-3, tailor-made, pitcher's best friend. Miami makes their living on pitching and defense. They come in here with the best pitching staff of the College World Series and a defense to match.
Off-speed pitch for strike 1 to Eric Valent, the center fielder. 0 for 2. He's popped out last time up. He had a hard ground ball to first, which Huff played unassisted. Only 70 pitches thrown by Arteaga. He's thrown strikes while his opposite number Parquet struggled to find the strike zone. He's gone to 3 balls on a batter only twice in this game. A nibble at the outside corner. He just missed 1 and 2.
Well, there's that experience we talked about earlier. You know, he's a senior. He's been here 4 times, making his 6th appearance, which ties the World Series record. So he's been here and knows what to do.
And he is mowing down the Bruins now. A strikeout ends the inning. On to the 7th in Omaha. Miami 3, UCLA 1.
The NCAA College World Series is sponsored by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Brute, put it on and you're ready to play. Brute, it's all part of the game. And by Scott's Lawn Products for great lawn guaranteed.
And we welcome you back live to the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. Miami leads 3-1 in the 3rd of 4 first-round games of the '97 CWS. Stanford and LSU, the winners yesterday. Tonight, Alabama takes on Mississippi State in the final first-round game. Top of the order for the Miami Hurricanes in the 7th. Ryan Grimmett against reliever Tom Hawkes. Grimmett turned a bunt, took a ball outside. Ryan's over 2 with a walk. Back in the first. A bunt foul. 1-1. And with Grimmett squaring a couple of times, Santora, the third baseman, has moved in a step in front of the bag at third. Outfield around toward right. A lot of hitting room in left center. Ball up and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. Grimmett, Bobby Hill, and Jason Michaels. The first 3 hitters in the order coming up in the 7th. Chopper foul. This season got off to a very slow start for Miami. At one point they were 11-10 after losing to the Longhorns in Austin, Texas. Coach Morris said they crawled back to Miami. All of a sudden they took off. They're 38-6 since.
That's pretty impressive. You know, it's very easy for a team that had so many changes on it from last year when they lost 13 guys, and they start off 11-10. Very easy for them to fold up their tents, but they didn't. Shows a lot of character.
Part of it, new players adjusting. Some of it a very tough early schedule. The Miami schedule, Coach Morris tells us, was rated 2nd toughest in the nation of the RCI. Strike 3. Fastball down the middle. Grimmett frozen by the 3-2 fastball. He strikes out for the 2nd time, and that's the 2nd K in an inning and a 3rd of relief for Tom Hawkes.
Well, Hawkes is showing pretty good velocity on his fastball as well, working Grimmett away. Then all of a sudden 3-2 comes on the inside corner, and he freezes Grimmett. Tries to decoy the umpire, didn't work. So that's a decoy. So, oh, maybe I can buy this one. No, fish aren't biting.
1 out, top of the 7th. Here's Bobby Hill. Bobby has 2 of the 5 Miami hits and has scored 2 of their 3 runs. He struck out in the 1st, then had an infield single and scored in the 3rd. He singled again and scored on the Michaels home run in the 5th that gave Miami the 3-1 lead. Jason Michaels is on deck. Ball in the dirt evens the count at 1-1. Close, but a ball. 18,049 in attendance here this afternoon, including Coach Gary Adams' wife, Sandy, their daughters, Jessica and Audrey. Fly ball drifting toward the seats and right. Look out, he may go tumbling in there. Eric Burns went all the way to the rail and gave it every opportunity, but it was several rows back.
He gets another one of those. I think he's going to climb up there and dive into the seats. He's very aggressive. He can't wait to catch that ball.
Terrific outfielder. 9 outfield assists. Eric Burns. Strike 3. Back-to-back called third strikes for Hawkes. 2 down here in the Miami 7th.
It's pretty easy to see why Hawkes is their number 2 starter. I mean, he's coming in here and he's pinpoint. That ball's on the outside corner. He struck out Grimmett with a fastball on the inside corner. You can see that one. That's a 2-seam fastball. It's supposed to move a little bit, but it's pretty darn straight. He must be throwing pretty hard.
Now Jason Michaels working on a perfect afternoon in his first College World Series game. He's walked twice and hit a 2-run homer down the left field line that gave Miami the 3-1 lead in the 5th. That came off the starter, Jim Parquet. It's in the air and foul ground off first. Zamora over the tarp. It's 2 rows deep. 1-1 on Michaels. He wasn't a member of the team last year when Miami lost in the championship game in heartbreaking fashion to LSU. He was in junior college. When that championship game was being played, he was driving from Florida up to Cape Cod in Massachusetts to play in the Cape Cod League. 89-mile-per-hour pitch. A strike. He and his dad stopped in a restaurant in Bridgeport, Connecticut to see the game. Jason already committed to go to Miami. He left with the Canes ahead 7-3, certain that they would be the national champions. He reported to Cape Cod, went right to the area in which he had to check in with the Cape Cod League officials. And he was stunned when he said, "Hey, how about them Canes, national champions?" They said, "What are you talking about? They've lost." In the air and right. This one will stay in the yard for Eric Burns. No somersault required. A 1-2-3 inning for Hawkes. 7th inning stretch in Omaha. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA College World Series will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Sean McDonough with Fred Lynn back at the College World Series in Omaha. Today's game produced by Bob Dekas and directed by Mike Arnold. 7th inning stretch. 3-1. Miami has the lead. And Peter Zamora will lead off against J.D. Arteaga. He's had the hitters off stride with his changing of speeds, and he had Zamora out ahead of that first pitch for strike 1. No walks issued by Arteaga, major factor in his success today. Here for the 4th time is J.D. He'd like to win it once. He said, "I'm greedy. I'd like to have won all 4, but this is my last chance." J.D.'s overcome some adversity to be in this position. While he was in high school at Westminster in Miami, he was the quarterback on the football team, and during a football game his dad had a heart attack and died in the stands. Swing and a miss. Zamora down swinging. 4 strikeouts now for Arteaga. Back-to-back Ks here. He got Valent to win the 6th.
Well, here's a case of Peter Zamora kind of over swinging on this ball. And again, J.D. is taking a little bit off each of his curveballs. He's throwing one a little bit harder, which he throws a little bit at 3/4. This one, he throws more sidearm, takes a little bit more off, and he's really changing speeds well. The only problem is everybody's out there to see how he is. Don't know what he did, but had everybody concerned.
Yeah, as you watch the replays, Laser Collazo, the pitching coach, started out to the mound with the home plate umpire Jim Garman alongside. They appeared to have some concern about a possible injury to Arteaga, but J.D. waved them away. You mentioned the contrast in styles between these two teams. At Miami, it's Collazo, the pitching coach, who calls the pitches.
There he is right there. In fact, if he took his hat off, you see a shaved head and you see him giving the signs. He lost a bet to his pitching staff if they said if they won the regionals, they could shave his head. It took him all of 3 seconds to get in there, and they shaved him. I don't know what he has to do if they win the whole thing, but.
Well, Turtle Thomas, another assistant coach alongside, has promised to shave his mustache. That doesn't seem to be quite as big a deal.
No. There's Turtle.
Both longtime members of the coaching staff here at Miami. Big part of their success. Nick Theodoro. Single to right in the second, line to center in the fourth. 13 for his last 16 is Theodoro. Bruins need a base runner to get the tying run to the plate. They trail 3-1, bottom of the seventh. Mentioned that Arteaga is out of Westminster Christian High School in Miami. If that sounds familiar, he was a high school teammate of Alex Rodriguez, brilliant shortstop for the Seattle Mariners, and they are the best of friends. Strike three. Might have been a little bit low, but when you pitch as JD has today, you get the close calls, and that's 3 straight strikeouts for Arteaga and 5 for the ballgame.
And again, Arteaga showing his masterfulness of the strike zone. He's been going away on Theodoro. Now he comes in on a 3-2 pitch and he freezes him again. The hitter trying to buy a call from the umpire because he's fooled. That ball had all of the plate.
Jack Santora is the batter. Third baseman single to right to drive in the UCLA run back in the second. He grounded out in the fourth. And again, Fred, we go back to the strategy of that inning we talked about at the time. They had 3 straight hits. Looked like they might get Arteaga on the ropes, and then they decided to bunt with their DH. That seemed to kill the momentum for the inning. They did not score another run, and they haven't had a sniff since.
Well, that's not the way they play during the season. I mean, you don't score 630 runs during the season in a 65-game schedule by playing safe.
Terrific play on the comebacker by Arteaga, and he throws to Huff. Another 1-2-3 inning. After 7, 3-1 Miami on CBS Sports. Miami leads 3-1 heading to the 8th here in Omaha. Earlier today on CBS, you saw coverage of the Ameritech Senior Open. Final round comes your way tomorrow at 2 Eastern time here on CBS Sports, and Dr. Gil Morgan will take a 1-shot lead into the 3rd and final round. Hale Irwin right on his tail. And a busy day at the concession stands here at Rosenblatt Stadium.
I'll take 2 of those, please.
You mean that milkshake from world famous Zesto's next door wasn't enough?
No.
Pat Burrell begins the Miami 8th against Tom Hawkes. He's pitched 2 scoreless innings of relief. He's retired the last 6 he has faced. Middle third of the order, Burrell, Huff, and Esquivel due up. Burrell struck out and walked twice, adding to his single-season Miami record in walks. Now with 82 to deep third, a tricky hop. Santora stayed with it, and it is not dug out by Zamora. Nice try by Peter, but he couldn't come up with it. And they charge an error to Jack Santora on the play. First error committed by either team today.
It's a tough chance for Jack Santora as he gets eaten up on the hop. A lot of overspin on that ball. And then Zamora just can't quite dig it out for him. You can see he's backpedaling. He let the ball play him instead of coming forward and be aggressive and get the good hop. He got caught in between, and then Zamora couldn't help him out with a pick.
11th error of the season for Santora. He's preparing in just his 28th game. Huff turned to bunt and took a strike. Aubrey Huff has walked, popped out, and flied out. He's a sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, but in his first year at the University of Miami as a junior college transfer from Vernon JC in Texas. Burrell back to first. He can steal a base. 12 out of 13 in stolen bases, Pat Burrell. Zamora holds Burrell on. Santora in on the grass at third. Again, Huff trying to bunt. This one's a strike. And now it's 0-2. Huff has sacrificed 5 times this year. Miami has used the sacrifice bunt more often than UCLA, 41 times this season. First, very close. Those runners from Miami continue to go back in standing, and there have been a number of close calls over there.
Well, Burrell obviously didn't know that Hawkins had that kind of move, that step off and that quick throw. And that's a great move for a left-hander if you can do it, if your shoulder can take that kind of a throw. It keeps the runners very close. You don't rely on deception, you rely on speed to get it over there.
3-1 Miami, top of the 8th. They're looking for insurance runs. And Arteaga is cruising right along, but Miami does have Robbie Morrison, their ace closer, warming up in the bullpen. Jim Morris told us yesterday he really wanted to get Robbie into this first game, get his legs under him here in the College World Series. Huff strikes out on an off-speed pitch. That's 4 Ks for Hawkins. Morrison, you may recall, was the pitcher who gave up the World Series deciding home run to Warren Morris of LSU last year.
Well, there's a couple of sidebars there that are going to be happening because JD's throwing so well. I mean, do you want to bring in Morrison when your starting pitcher is just breezing along, or do you want to bring in Reyes? I mean, that's a tough call. I mean, they don't have many complete games at Miami.
Down to third, a base hit, a smash by Esquivel past the diving Santora. Burrell to second on the play. So Esquivel, the freshman, is 2 for 4 in his first CWS game. That's the second hit given up by Hawkins.
And this is the first ball that our Miami hitters really hit hard off Hawkins. Ball's right out over the middle plate, and Santora has no chance to stop this one. You can see him, he's in good position, but the ball's just hit too quickly. He had no chance.
Double-barreled bullpen action, and there will be a pitching change as Tim Leary has put out the call for the left-hander, Rob Henkel. So one lefty replaces another. Henkel will be the third UCLA pitcher, all of them left-handed. Back to Omaha in a moment. Miami Hurricanes trying to add to a 3-1 lead with 1 out and 2 men on here in the 8th. The third pitcher of the ballgame for UCLA, the third left-hander used by Gary Adams, Rob Henkel, with a record of 3-2 and 2 saves in 32 appearances. He's been one of the top setup men in the country this season. A freshman from La Mesa, California, at 6'2", 200 pounds. He inherits Pat Burrell, the runner, at second. Wally Esquivel at first. And the catcher, Mike Lopez-Cow, at the plate. 1 for 3, a single his first time up. That was back in the second. Base hit to right.
You may have requested it.
Pitch in the dirt. Good block by Cloud.
They got over there. Handles everywhere. They got them on the bed. I think we got to do something.
And another ball in the dirt. And another block by Cloud. Good relief job by Tom Hawkins in his 2 1/3 innings. He might still be out there were it not for the error to start the inning by Santora on a tough play. Hawkins went 2 1/3, allowed just 2 hits. And no walks. He struck out 4, but he is responsible for the 2 base runners.
And what Hawkins did, you know, he threw strikes, and he threw quality strikes. That's what you have to do when you come in as a reliever. You got to throw strikes right away. And it's kind of unusual because he's a starter by trade. Now you have a reliever come in and he can't find the plate.
Henkel's gone to 3-0 on the left-handed hitting Lopez-Cow. Mark Walker is on deck. Taking all the way, and it's ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. Not what Coach Adams had in mind. And he had Leary go to the mound and summon Henkel. Right-handed hitter due up next, Mark Walker. Adams likely to stay with Henkel. He does have his closer, Jake Myers, a right-hander warming up. But Myers came into the ball game. Rick Sagisio, left-handed hitter, would probably go up there. And he's a little bit more of a threat with the bat than Walker. Walker starting today because he hits right-handed. He's had a tough day with the bat. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. 5 straight balls out of the bullpen thrown by Henkel. Most of them not close. Troy Gloss goes to the mound. Pat Burrell, the runner at third, started the inning by reaching on an error. After a strikeout of Huff, Lally Esquivel singled to left. He's now at second after a walk to Mike Lopez-Cal. Miami leads 3-1. Chance for some breathing room for the Hurricanes as they hit with 1 out in the 8th. UCL infield at double play depth up the middle. 6 in a row outside the strike zone. 2-0 on Walker. A walk would push in a run. There's a strike. These fans are tough. Mock cheering up for Henkel. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3-1 Miami. The 2-1 pitch. Borderline strike 2. And Henkel is back even with Walker.
Here's the pitch on Walker, and you have to give Jim Garman credit. He's been calling that pitch all day long. He's been very consistent about it.
Walker at the plate. The number 9 hitter Brad Brewer on deck. The 2-2 pitch. Chopped down to third. Santora steps in the bag. Over to first. A huge double play for the Bruins. The Hurricanes load the bases but do not score in the 8th. Still 3-1 Miami after 7.5. 45-year-old Jim Morris, the head coach at the University of Miami. Among those in the stands, his wife of 20 years, Denise. He's seen a lot of ball games during their marriage. Next weekend, the College World Series championship game comes your way 1 week from today, next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Time, from right here at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha. Time running out on the UCLA Bruins. J.D. Arteaga delivers strike 1. He's retired 17 of the last 18 hitters. And has faced the minimum 15 over the last 5. Ground ball to short by Matoyan. And Chad is thrown out by the shortstop Brewer. Chad Matoyan has received some extra schooling in recent years. His baseball skills. His dad, Matty, went to Fresno State, and while he was at Fresno State, his roommate was a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Williams, now the manager of the Boston Red Sox. Matty Matoyan and Jimmy Williams remain the best of friends. Matter of fact, Chad's dad is godfather for one of Jimmy Williams' sons, Brady, who just graduated from high school last night. Aldo Pinto is a pinch hitter, batting for the catcher Cloud. Pinto was the starting third baseman for much of the year, lost his spot when Santora returned from injury. Pinto was up to the plate, and now it appears he's coming back. It'll be the shortest pinch hitting stint in College World Series history.
That's a new one. Every year you do baseball, you say, well, I've never seen this play. Well, I've never seen this play. A pinch hitter being pinch hit for before he even swings the bat.
And with no change of the pitcher or anything.
He's been announced, so he's officially in the game. Maybe that was the key.
Well, maybe there was some sort of miscommunication in the UCLA dugout, but here's Brett Nista, who was a tough omission from the starting lineup today for Coach Adams. He agonized about whether Nista should play. He was in and out of the starting lineup. Had a shoulder injury lately. That was the major reason why he did not get the call today. Nista is batting for Pinto, who was batting for Cloud, but never actually got up there.
It's a games played clause thing. I figured it out.
He has an incentive.
That's right.
The pitch in. Nista, 316 hitter, 4 homers, 25 runs batted in. He's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Brett's a junior from Laguna Hills, California, out of Laguna Hills High School. Lowest run total of the game this year for UCLA, 2. And only scored 1 today in 7 1/3 against J.D. Arteaga. (3-1) Miami. In the 8th, 1 out, bases empty. Backdoor breaking ball just missed. Full count. UCLA held to 2 runs on 3 occasions this season. The last time by Harvard in the first game of the regionals, a 7-2 Crimson victory. Well, the longest outing for Arteaga this year is 8 innings. Nista with the ball slicing away from Grimmett, but he's there to make the running catch. UCLA has had 1 base runner since the 2nd inning. That was on a base hit by Eric Burns opening the 6th, and he was quickly erased on a double play ball off the bat of Gloss. Top of the order, John Heinrichs with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 8th. Foul ball just off to our right. Heinrichs, senior from San Diego, 22 years old. We're talking about him as being somewhere between a 4th and 6th round draft pick next week. 28 doubles this year, setting the single season UCLA record, which was 23, set by Tim DeSensei back in '95, and a guy by the name of Eric Karros in '87. UCLA's had some great players over the years who never made it to the College World Series. Guys like Karros and Bill Hasselman, now the catcher for the Boston Red Sox, Shane Mack, Mike Gallego. Todd Zeal. It is a very long list and a very impressive list. You could win a lot of games at the major league level with that team. Heinrichs skies it to shallow right. Michaels the catch. Arteaga has been brilliant this afternoon. And Miami takes a 3-1 lead to the 9th in Omaha. Heading to the 9th here in Omaha. Miami has a 3-1 lead tonight on CBS. Begins with Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, followed by Early Edition, and then Walker, Texas Ranger, all tonight here on CBS. New catcher Jason Green. They hit for Cloud with 2 hitters actually in the bottom of the 8th. Rob Henkel throws strike 1 to Brad Brewer. Turned to bunt. Brad's 0 for 3. Fly to right, popped out and grounded out. Henkel came in last inning through 6 straight balls. Then got a big double play grounder off the bat of Mark Walker to keep it A 2-run deficit for UCLA. Meanwhile, J.D. Arteaga is wrapping his arm in a towel on the bench. Robbie Morrison has been throwing, but the way Arteaga's going, you expect him to come back out in the bottom of the ninth. UCLA is Burns, Gloss, and Valent due up. To right field. Trouble with the sun for Burns. That is the toughest sun field without any question here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Right field. Burns able to handle the fly ball off the bat of Brewer.
Yeah, especially at the end of these games, the early session and the beginning of the next game, the right fielder really has to battle, and you can see him trying to get down below. He's trying to get down below the sun so the ball will come out of it. Just makes a catch. Ooh, little eyeball burn there at the end. Nice play.
Ryan Grimmett wanted to bunt, and he took a strike. Ryan's over 3 with a walk. He struck out twice. Henkel turned it over nicely. It's 0-2 on Grimmett.
Well, if you're a left-hand hitter in the Pac-10, you don't want to play UCLA.
No. Three starters, all left-handed. Nice balance on the pitching staff in all. 10 pitchers who have appeared this year for UCLA. 5 right-handed and 5 lefties.
And it's not like the Hurricanes have an unbalanced lineup with left-handed hitters in there. I mean, their power's from the right side.
The 1-2 got by Green. Count level at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Among the highlights of Ryan Grimmett's season, 5 steals in 1 game at Hawaii. That tied the Miami single game record, and a straight steal of home in a ball game against Coastal Carolina. 2-2 just high. So Grimmett's worked the count from 0-2 to a full count. Bobby Hill on deck and Jason Michaels in the hole. He lost him. Got ahead of him 0-2 and walked him. Second walk thrown by Henkel in 1 inning of relief. 8 walks today thrown by Gary Adams pitchers. Adams was ejected from the game against Miami last year in the regional finals in the 9th inning. Wasn't pleased with the work of the home plate umpire in the 8-4 loss. And the Bruins weren't pleased with the way Miami celebrated on the field. Troy Gloss made the final out of the ballgame with a ground ball to short. Alex Cora, after fielding the ground ball, but before throwing the first, raised his arms up over his head in celebration. Some of the UCLA players thought that they were getting their face rubbed in a little bit. And they were delighted when they saw the draw and saw that they had a chance to play Miami.
Right now, they're not so delighted.
No. Bobby Hill, the batter. All of a sudden, Henkel can't throw a strike, and there is double-barreled action in the bullpen. The left-hander is Nick St. George, and Matt Klein is the right-hander. Klein was up earlier. Miami is a 3-1 lead, top of the 9th. 1 out, a runner at first. Grimmett, second in the nation in stolen bases, is that runner. Strike to Hill.
Well, Henkel's using the slide step to home, and he's coming to the plate very quickly, not giving Grimmett any chance to get a good jump from first.
Grimmett back to first. 53 steals and 66 attempts for Grimmett. Still needs 1 to tie Clay Green of Tennessee for the national lead in stolen bases. Bear in mind, Grimmett missed 3 weeks with a groin injury. Strike 2, 1-2 on Hill, who's 2 for 4 today and has scored 2 of the 3 Miami runs. He's also struck out twice. Hill came to Miami for this his freshman year as a shortstop. Suffered a shoulder strain, sat out about a week or so, then moved to second base when he returned to action to shorten his throw. He's going to take the summer off from baseball and rest that shoulder. They hope he won't need surgery. Close pitch, but a ball, 2-2. Chopped up the middle. Gloss is there. Steps on the bag. It doesn't get much easier than that. A double play that ends the inning. Last call for the Bruins. They have Burns, Gloss, and Valent. The meat of their order coming up. Trailing 3-1 against Arteaga.
The NCAA College World Series is sponsored by Fidelity Investments and by Desinex, the soothing cure for athlete's foot.
J.D. Arteaga has thrown 99 pitches. Miami has received only one complete game from a starter this year. That was an 8-inning complete game for Arteaga in a loss against the University of Texas. And it's a rarity under Jim Morris. Miami's had just 3 complete games in Morris's 4 years as coach of the Canes. Eric Burns leads off, takes first pitch ball, and offering number 100 from Arteaga. Burns, the only base runner for UCLA since the second inning, with a single to left in the 6th, and he was quickly wiped out on a double play grounder off the bat of Gloss, who is on deck. Chopped slowly foul off third.
Well, this is really the key batter to this whole inning. If he gets on and gives Troy Gloss a chance to tie this game, then you might see Jim Morris make the switch. But if he gets this guy out, Burns out, then I believe he's going to let him face the rest of the guys, because Valent's a left-handed hitter, and he's handled him pretty easily in the 5th slot, or the 4th slot, excuse me.
Arteaga has not issued a walk. He's retired the last 8 hitters. The pitches just like that, painting the corners, changing speeds. 1-2 now on Burns. Just outside. Arteaga has 3 career complete games in 4 seasons at Miami. Hasn't gone more than 8 innings this year. He's doing it for the first time today. 2-2 pitch. Slap to right, a base hit. Just out of the reach of Bobby Hill. So they'll get Gloss to the plate as the tying run. And Jim Morris has a big decision to make. Does he stick with Arteaga, or does he go to his ace closer Morrison? One of the best in the country, but still trying to shake the memory of the game-winning home run he surrendered to Warren Morris in the championship game last year.
Another nice bit of hitting by Burns. This ball has been called a strike all day long, so he knows with 2 strikes on the hitter, he's got to protect the plate. Just slaps it by Bobby Hill. This is what we've been waiting for.
Troy Gloss 1 for 3, a first inning single. Last time up he hit into a double play. He looked at strike 1. 3-1 Miami, but the tying run is at the plate for UCLA. Bruins looking for their first ever win in the College World Series. The only other time the Bruins were here was in 1969. Good play at first by Huff. And in 69 it was what they call here in Omaha 0-2 and barbecue for the Bruins, as they lost a pair of 1-run extra inning games to Tulsa and Arizona State. Backdoor breaking ball missed. Count level, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's going to be interesting to see if Arteaga still stays on the outside portion of the plate, or if he tries to sneak one in on the inside corner.
Gloss, a record-setting home run hitter in the Pac-10 and at UCLA. In a hitter's count right now, 2-1. Those are the numbers we showed you earlier. 60 career homers. Number 1 in Pac-10 history. 32 in 1 season, tying Mark McGuire's record. In the air and right, and pretty well hit. Michaels at the wall. It is gone. Morris made made the decision to stick with Arteaga to face Gloss. And he hit a 2-run homer, eerily reminiscent of the one hit by Warren Morris of LSU to win the national title against Miami last year.
Well, here it is. The big gun comes through for UCLA. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. He just goes with a pitch. And the wind is blowing from left to right most part of this day. This guy's 6'5". He just drives it. There she goes.
And now he has the single season Pac-10 record all by himself, moving out of the tie with Mark McGwire. 33rd homer of the year for Troy Gloss. 3-3 the score. Now Miami just trying to hang on and force extra innings. They stay with Arteaga to face the left-handed hitting Valent. And he's a home run threat. Valent, a big swing and a little pop-up in foul ground. Burl over with room. Makes the catch for the first out of the inning. And another left-handed hitter due up, Zamora. And it appears Arteaga will continue.
You got a feel for these Hurricanes. I mean, the last game that they played, the exact same thing happened to them. Only this game is still continuing, but there's still 2 more outs to go in this inning.
You weren't with us earlier or last year. Miami lost the championship game of the College World Series last year to LSU on a 2-out 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th by Warren Morris. 9-8 LSU win. Zamora takes ball 2. Who knows, some thoughts of last year have to be going through the heads of those Miami players in their dugout. 3-0. Arteaga in danger of his first walk, and it would put the winning run at first base with 1 out in the 9th. Nick Theodoro, right-handed hitter on deck. 3-0. He was taking all the way, and it's a strike.
Now, Sean, I'm looking at the body language of these Miami players, and boy, it's written all over them. They say, oh, here we go again.
That's outside, ball 4. The winning run is at first. It's the first walk given up by Arteaga. And here comes Morris. Perhaps to summon Robbie Morrison, his outstanding closer, who endured the nightmare of giving up that home run to Warren Morris last year. And he'll make his first appearance in this College World Series in another pressure-packed situation. Morrison, the new pitcher, in a 3-3 ball game when we come back. UCLA has tied it on a home run by Troy Gloss. Robbie Morrison, the new pitcher for Miami. The last time he was on this mound, here's what happened. Now Warren Morris hits a deep drive down the right field line. That ball is gone! LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris. So now Morrison trying to shake that memory. It has haunted him. He's bounced back and had a terrific season. 1.63 ERA with 8 saves, a 3-2 record, 76 strikeouts in 49 2/3 innings. He was a freshman All-American last year, but all of that was overshadowed by the home run. Laser Collazo, the pitching coach, told us yesterday he felt that the defeat in the championship game was all his fault, and they had many long conversations, car rides, visits to each other's residences during the summer to put it behind Morrison. His first pitch had plenty on it, a strike to the switch hitting Theodoro, who bats for the first time today from the left side.
Well, he gets it up there in the almost mid-90s. He's got a great curveball and a hard slider, so it's fast stuff all the way here.
too fast. Nearly eluded the grasp of Lopez Cal. 3-3 the score, bottom of the ninth. One out, the potential winning run at first. Peter Zamora the runner there. Morrison's a sophomore from Loxahatchee, Florida. Bounce down the line. Foul ball. Foul ball as Huff made the diving stop.
Boy, you don't expect these hitters to get around on this kind of a pitch. Just foul. Good call by the umpire. Ball down and in. Theodoro gets the head out. Huff snags it, but it's just foul.
1-2 the count. Jack Santora is on deck. In the dirt, blocked by Lopez Cal.
Well, the pitch that Morrison made last year for the home run was a breaking ball. And down and into a left-hander. You wouldn't expect him to make that same mistake again.
Foul ball. Well, on Thursday night, they had the annual kickoff banquet, which all 8 teams appeared. And at the conclusion of that dinner, they played the tape you just saw of the game-winning home run by Morris. Talking about what an exciting World Series, most dramatic finish ever. But it really upset Robbie Morris. Laser Koyaz, the pitching coach, he thought it was in very bad taste. The grounder is short. They'll try to turn 2, and they do. 6-4-3. Brewer to Hill to Huff to force extra innings. The Bruins tie it on the gloss home run. 3-3 as we head to the 10th in Omaha. Dramatic 2-run homer by Troy Gloss has tied this first-round College World Series game at 3-3 and forced extra innings. And the Hurricanes try to bounce back from the momentary shock. They have their big bats coming up. Batters 3, 4, and 5. Jason Michaels, Pat Burrell, and Aubrey Huff. Michaels hit the 2-run homer in the 5th that gave Miami the 3-1 lead, which lasted 1 out into the bottom of the 9th. Jason has walked twice today and fly to right. Michaels now with a single season Miami RBI record, 89 for the year. Hurricanes are 49-16. And with 50 games for the second straight year. They finished last year 15-14. The ball was second, and then a wild throw to first. Theodoro kicked it around and threw wildly to first. It appeared to hit the runner Michaels, and that might have prevented it from going into the dugout. And Michaels would have been at second. Michaels limping around at first base. He's asked for time.
Still Pat. Come on.
Here you see a routine ground ball, very hard hit, but still. Second baseman is in front of it nicely, hits him in the heel. Then he compounds the error by throwing it away. And fortunately for the Bruins, it hits Michaels. Otherwise, that ball's in the dugout, and he's on second base.
We talked earlier about how the Bruins coaches were worried about Theodoro's defense early in the season because he was making the transition from the outfield this year. They had a very tough time in their preseason workouts, but he's done a good job this season at second base. The error is his 10th. Defensive weakness of the Bruins. They've made 2 errors today. Now 125 for the season in 66 games.
Well, they've been able to overcome all of their errors and poor pitching performances with their bats. But in a short series, sometimes those things are harder to overcome.
Pat Burrell is the batter. 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Rob Henkel missed outside, evening the count at 1-1. Burrell struck out in the first, walked in the 3rd and 5th, reached on an error by the 3rd baseman Santora in the 8th. Miami's had chances. Add to a 3-run total. They left 9 men on base through the first 9 innings. And hit into a double play. Earl in the hole, 1-2. Little lob, shallow left, and that will drop. Heinrichs was playing very deep with the powerful Burrell up there. So Miami has the first 2 men on here in the 9th, in the 10th rather, in a 3-3 ball game.
You could chalk this base hit up to aluminum bat right here. You can hear it clunk. He got jammed, and had that been wood, that ball wouldn't have never gotten out of the infield. But as it is, Hurricanes are in business. First and second, nobody out.
Jason Michaels, the runner at second. And Pat Burrell at first. 3-3 the score. The hits are even at 7 each. That's the first hit given up by Henkel. He's pitched an inning and 2/3 of relief. Bruins expect a bunt. Huff turned early. Bunts toward third. They have the third baseman in on the coverage, so he has to go to first. It's a sacrifice. 5-3. Now 2 men in scoring position.
This is a perfectly executed bunt by Huff. Gets the bat in front of the plate, pushes it down to the third baseman, which makes him field it. Gets the runners over. Nice job. See his teammates like it too.
And they might intentionally walk the right-handed hitter Esquivel here to load the bases. Give him the possibility to get out of the inning with a double play. There is a left-handed hitter, Lopez Cow, on deck, the catcher. It's not likely they would hit for the catcher, Lopez Cow. No walk. Esquivel. He has 2 hits today, a couple of singles. With a third walk thrown by Henkel, the first intentional walk. And of course the danger in this is that Rob has been a little bit wild since coming into the ball game. He's even had a tough time with this intentional walk, and he'll have to throw strikes to Lopez Cow. Can't afford to walk in the go-ahead run.
Plus the first time he faced Lopez Cow, he walked him. So
on 4 pitches. That was the first batter he faced on entering the ball game in the 8th inning. 3-3 the score. In the 10th, a great chance for Miami to reclaim the lead. They'll have the bases loaded with 1 out. Had a look at Lopez Cow, who will be the batter. Here he comes. In extra innings this season, Miami 3-1, UCLA 1-0. They don't generally play many extra inning games because these 2 teams so far superior to most of their competition. They're generally putting a pretty good licking on the opposition. Michaels now at third. Burrell at second. Esquivel at first. Mike Lopez Cow. A single, popped to second, fly to center, and he walked against Henkel in the 8th. Out of play to the left.
Boy, as a left-hand hitter in this situation, you want that first pitch. That's the pitch you want to put in play right there. You know you're going to get a fastball, and you just die when it goes foul. You just, Then you got to pick yourself up and say, okay, got to do it again.
Inside, it nearly hit him. Ball got loose in the UCLA Bruin bullpen, and it's right behind the third base umpire, Dan Scoro. He didn't realize it. Now it's been retrieved. That's Jake Meyer, the UCLA closer, throwing. 3-3 the score, 10th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out for Miami. The 1-1 from Henkel to Lopez Cow. Pulled sharply foul right through the legs. Gino DeMari, the first base coach.
Come on, Mikey!
One thing about Miami, they know how to come from behind. They've done it 19 times this year already, and they did it 3 straight times in the regional to get here. So They know how to win close ball games.
They've had 6 wins in their final at bat. Lopez Cow in the hole, 1-2. Walker, a right-handed hitter on deck. He struck him out. Henkel pulled the string. Lopez Cow out ahead, and the strategy pays off, at least momentarily, for Gary Adams. 2 down, and the bases still loaded.
This is a great pitch from Henkel. Takes a little bit off. Gets Mike Lopez Cow out front. You'll see it here. Just out in front. Can't quite catch up to it, but he had some balls to hit early in the count, and he didn't do it. And that's what happens when you don't put the ball in play early in the count in that situation.
Hurricanes have not had a hit today with a runner in scoring position. They are 0 for 8 as a team.
Hey, come on, man. Get time out there. Come on, big boy. Come on, 2-1. Get those hacks in and hit one hard now.
Does you give a fuck? I know, Nick.
Jim Morris pondering the immediate future.
I heard the guy saying about 21 would be Jacobson, but we'll see if he comes out. Here he is.
Russ Jacobson, freshman backup catcher.
Russ Jacobson.
Heading up there to bat. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. 6'2", 207. Right-handed hitter. Bothered by knee trouble early in the season. Well, he might have been the #1 catcher. So Walker lifted for Jacobson. Should Jake Meyer come into the ball game? Jim Morris has one of his best hitters on the bench, Rick Sagisi, a left-handed hitter.
Tough situation to set up a freshman. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
For his first College World Series at bat, he takes a strike. Ball low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jacobson's dad, Kent, a fine player at Arizona State. Back in the 70s. Russ was first team All-State in Arizona last year. Horizon High School. 1-1 pitch sliced down the right field line and drifting foul. Burns full speed ahead as usual. Couldn't get to it.
And if he can't get to it, nobody can get to it.
And now Henkel has a chance to get out of the jam. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. Then Henkel struck out Lopez Cow. Now it's Jacobson batting for Walker, who is 0 for 4 today. Count of 1-2. 2 outs and the bases loaded. 3-3 game. Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts with the bases loaded, thrown by Henkel. And it's still 3-3 as we head to the bottom of the 10th at the College World Series in Omaha. The score, bottom of the 10th. And the bottom third of the order coming up for UCLA against the hard-throwing closer Robbie Morris and Jack Santora to lead off. Then Chad Matoyan. They will be followed by Jason Green. There's DeMar Smith, the new left fielder for Miami. He's a freshman. Morrison's first pitch into the air to right, not deep. Jason Michaels didn't have to move. 1 pitch and 1 out. Santora now 1 for 4 with an RBI single back in the 2nd. Lucky gummies in the Bruin dugout. See if they work.
Whatever works.
use it. It's going to be interesting to see how long Robbie Morrison goes in this game now. He's not just a one-inning pitcher like a lot of closers. He can go a couple, but this is the first game of the college series.
No. Al Davis was nearly sacked.
Foul, I think.
It was slicing, and he actually ran in the direction of the ball. The ball was slicing to the right, and he...
It sounds foul.
Turned to his right and got some serious chin music.
Oh, great.
Chad Matoyan takes a breaking ball high. He's 0 for 3, hasn't had it out of the infield. Morrison relieved Arteaga last inning. JD, the starter, went 8 in the third innings, allowed 3 runs, all earned on 7 hits, including that big home run by Gloss that tied it with 1 out of the 9th. Arteaga walked only 1 the last batter he faced. Struck out 5 through 116 pitches. Morrison came in to get a double play ball off the bat of Theodoro to end the 9th and got the first man here in the 10th, Santora. Now with 1 out and the bases empty in the 10th, it's 2-2 on Matoyan. Strike 3. No argument from Chad.
There's some outside paint. Threw a couple sliders early in the count. Set up this outside fastball. This has been called a strike all day. And it's going to be continued to be a call to strike, especially in a 2-strike situation. Right there, boom, see ya.
Strike 1 to Jason Green. 406 his average in limited action. He appeared in 26 games prior to the College World Series, made 6 starts. He is a better hitter than the starter Cloud, but Cloud better defensively. They've gone with Cloud on a team that has a lot of production up and down the lineup. They can afford to go the catcher who doesn't hit quite as well. Low heat there, 90 miles an hour outside. 3-3 the score in the 10th.
Hockey machine.
Breaking ball swung on and missed. An overpowering inning by Morrison as he strikes out 2. On the 11th, still 3-3 in Omaha. The score heading to the 11th. Number 9 hitter to lead off for the Hurricanes. Brad Brewer 0 for 4. Facing Henkel, who's done a very nice job in relief. Outstanding relief by both Hawkes and Henkel for UCLA. Combined to throw 5 scoreless innings, and right on cue, Brewer has his first College World Series base hit. And the go-ahead run is at first. Lead man on for the second straight extra inning for Miami.
Well, Miami's had a lot of chances this game, and sooner or later they're going to have to punch a run across. There's a fastball right down Broadway, and Brewer gets his first College World Series hit. He's liking that.
Top of the order, and Ryan Grimmett. Time called by the catcher Green. Coach Adams out in front of the UCLA dugout going through a long sequence of signs. Grimmett already squared to bunt as the throw goes to first. Brewer's 4 steals. He's been thrown out twice. Santora in on the edge of the grass.
Well, when you square that early, you allow the third baseman to get right on top of you and forces you to bunt the ball only one way, and that's towards first.
That's what Grimmett tried to do. He fouled it off first base side.
course, as a third baseman, you don't want to see him square around and all of a sudden decide to forget that mode of operation and swing away when you're 5 feet from him.
The 0-1 is high. Henkel, the third pitcher of the ball game for UCLA. Parquet went the first 5. Hawkes pitched 2 in the third, scoreless innings of relief. Now Henkel's pitched 2 2/3 scoreless innings, having surrendered just 2 singles. Bunted toward first and caught. Diving catch by Zamora. Nice play by Peter. He was charging hard, and Grimmett popped up the bunt.
This is a pretty good play by Zamora. I mean, this is a popped up bunt, but it's halfway between first and home, and Zamora got a great break on the play, showing his athleticism there, making a diving catch. Looked like an outfielder.
Bobby Hill, the batter. The freshman from San Jose, 2 for 5, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. He struck out twice and bounced to short. Brewer, the runner at first, 1 out in the 11th, 3-3 the score. First pitch from Henkel high.
Not a bad time to start the runner. Maybe get a little hit and run action here. Brewer doesn't have bad speed. 4 out of 6 stolen base attempts.
He's running, and the pitch swung on and missed, but it was a ball in the dirt, and Green couldn't come up with it. So right on Fred Lynn's cue, Brewer takes off and has his 5th stolen base. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position again for Miami. They left the bases loaded last inning.
Well, this is definitely a hit and run, and Hill's trying to protect the runner, doing all that he can, and he does his job, as Green can't come up with a low strike.
Mentioned that Hill's from San Jose. He's an example of what we were talking about earlier. A player whom Miami was able to lure to their school because of the exposure of the College World Series, both on CBS and ESPN. Hill watched the Canes regularly in this event, became a Miami fan. At age 12, his family vacationed in South Florida. He went over to Mark Light Stadium, the home of the Hurricanes, and took some ground balls on their field. And he knew ever since then that he wanted to play for the University of Miami, so he's made the long trip from San Jose to Miami to attend college and play baseball.
It's nice to know somebody's watching.
2-2, up the middle, knocked down by Gloss. He can't make a throw. And that scored an error. Tough play. But the 35th error of the year charged to Gloss. And not to gloss it over, forgive the terrible pun, but Coach Adams says that he's made at least that many remarkable plays to take hits away from the opposition.
Yeah, the problem is we're in a key situation in this game, and this ball has to be caught. So shortstop's a tough enough position, but when you're 6'5", that's a long way to go down to get a ball.
Well, Auburn was undone by its bad defense in game 1 yesterday against Stanford, and now UCLA is going to have to cover up another defensive mistake, the 3rd. Leary, the pitching coach, at the mound, and Jake Meyer, the closer, is summoned. 3-3 the score. First and third for Miami with 1 out in the 11th when we come back. The new pitcher for UCLA, the first right-handed pitcher of the ball game for the Bruins, is their ace closer, Jake Meyer. 3-2 with a 3.10 ERA and 8 saves in 29 appearances this year. And in 29 innings, nearly a strikeout per inning, 26 Ks. A lot of walks, 18, and nearly a hit per inning pitched allowed. Tomorrow, 2 flyweights will go toe-to-toe. Mark Johnson takes on Cecilio Espino. Then from Skydome, 2 track and field heavyweights battle to see who is the world's fastest man, as Michael Johnson goes one-on-one against Donovan Bailey. That's all tomorrow on CBS Sports. Another great chance for Miami to take the lead. 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Brad Brewer, the runner, at 3rd, and Bobby Hill at 1st. The batter is Jason Michaels. He had the biggest hit of the ball game for Miami, a 2-run homer in the 5th off the starter Jim Parquet, which gave the Hurricanes a 3-1 lead, which lasted until the bottom of the 9th. Jake Meyer, redshirt junior from San Diego, 6'2", 195 pounds. Throws a fastball for strike 1. And the Canes are still in search of their first hit with a runner in scoring position, now 0 for 9.
Well, this game would have been over a long time ago had they gotten a couple key base hits.
They've left 12 men on through the first 10 innings, and they've hit into a double play. Left the bases loaded last inning. High heat, swung on and missed, 0-2. Meyer has an amazing array of pitches: a fastball, a cut fastball, a slider, a curveball, which he told us yesterday he throws on a rare occasion, a circle changeup, and a forkball.
He also said he'll go with what's working right now. The gas is working.
I wonder if the catcher has enough fingers for all those pitches. The 0-2, and he blew him away. One of the best hitters on the Miami club, Michaels, looked overmatched in that at bat as Meyer threw it right by him for strike 3.
Well, that's a problem when you get behind 0-2. Now you have to go into that protect mode. When a guy's throwing this hard, you still have to look for his breaking balls, and he throws it right by him. Here it is on the outside corner. Perfect pitch.
So now 2 down. And Canes hoping this will not be another squandered opportunity. They have their best hitter up there, Pat Burrell. 1 for 3. He singled last inning and was stranded at second. There's the first ball thrown by Jake Meyer. (3-3) the score, 2 outs in the top of the 11th. Amazing path for Meyer to the center stage of the College World Series. He was not recruited by UCLA out of high school in San Diego. Matter of fact, he didn't even play baseball as a junior in high school because he was the quarterback on the football team. Fall of his junior year, was so badly beaten up, particularly a back injury, that he elected not to play baseball. He told us yesterday he applied to UCLA simply because he had a fee waiver with the application because it was a UC school. And then later discovered that UCLA had a fine baseball program. A friend who was a major league scout got in contact with Gary Adams and arranged a walk-on tryout. Myers has been in and out of the program since. Myers had continuing back trouble and elbow surgery. Didn't make the team his second year at UCLA, in part because the elbow surgery was not long before. But he missed 2 full seasons before returning to action last year. He's still paying his own way to UCLA. He's the youngest of 7 children. Fastball inside, ball 4. After 3 straight strikes to Michaels, 4 straight balls to Burrell.
Well, that was almost an intentional walk. I mean, they're pitching around this kid, and they're not going to let Burrell beat them, which is only right. I mean, you try to take this guy out of the game, and they have, in effect.
Well, it's almost amazing that you can give up 10 walks, as UCLA pitchers have, commit 3 errors in the field, give up 8 hits, and still be in the ball game in extra innings. But it is 3-3, bases loaded for the second time in as many innings for Miami. Aubrey Huff is the batter. Strike one at the knees. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Brewers started the inning with a single. Stoll second. Hill reached on an error by the shortstop Gloss. Burrell walked a moment ago. 3-8-0 for Miami, 3-7-3 for UCLA. Sooner or later, mistakes going to catch up for the Bruins. They've been dodging bullets left and right. And plenty on that pitch from Meyer.
Here's a pretty good indication that he pitched around Burrell. He had four straight balls to Burrell and 6 strikes to the other hitters. And Paint.
He's rushing it up there in the low 90s. The 0-2 is outside.
He has easy heat. You know, it looks effortless. And as a hitter, that's the kind of fastball that's harder to catch up to because it looks so easy coming up there. You don't expect it to be coming in that hard.
Now the 1-2 to Huff. In the hole, tough play. Gloss goes to second for the pitch that ends the inning. So Gloss has had a couple of shaky moments in the field, but he made a tough play and he made it look easy. And the Canes leave the bases loaded for the second consecutive extra inning. Still 3-3. The Bruins with a chance to win it when we come back.
Tonight on CBS, starts off with Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, followed by Early Edition and Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's coming up quickly. Robbie Morrison has been very strong since coming into the ball game in the 9th. An inning and 2/3. Faced 4 batters to get 5 outs. And is not allowed a base runner. He struck out the last 2 hitters last inning. John Heinrichs for UCLA. Top of the order. Bruins with a chance to win it with 1 run. Morrison delivers a strike. Heinrichs a rare quiet day. 0 for 4. Rounded out his first time. Has flied out 3 times since.
You know, Sean, with the length of this game, now the hitters have a problem in that the shadows have encompassed home plate and the pitcher's coming out of the bright sunlight into the shadows, which makes it doubly difficult to hit anything that's off speed. You can see the fastball all right.
In the air and left. Well hit. At the wall, Smith makes the catch. They thought they had their first ever win in a College World Series game in the UCLA dugout, but Heinrichs didn't quite have enough to get it out of here.
And Robbie Morrison, this is the same pitch that was hit out last year, a hanging breaking ball, and Heinrichs just gets it on the end of the bat and doesn't quite get enough of it to get it out of here.
Frightening out number 1 for Morrison. Working now to Eric Burns. He's 2 for 4 singles in his last 2 at bats. He scored on the Gloss homer in the 9th. His hit should not be forgotten in that inning. The fact that he reached gave Gloss the chance to tie it with the homer, and he did. Fred, no matter which team wins now, they're still going to have problems with pitching in upcoming games. These 2 teams are chewing up the pitching staffs in addition to their fingernails.
Well, that's the problem with going into extra innings or anything like that in the first game when you have to use up a lot of pitchers. Now you're in the same kind of situation that you are in the regionals. And at the college level, you don't have a lot of depth. And hopefully these relievers are going to be able to bounce back on Monday.
1-2 breaking ball. Outside and low. It skipped away from Mike Lopez-Cow. Next Saturday, the College World Series Championship game, 12:30 Eastern Time, right here on CBS Sports. chopper foul. We mentioned earlier that at the banquet here Thursday night, they played the videotape of Warren Morris's World Series winning home run off Morrison last year, and it really upset Laser Collazo, the pitching coach. He told us yesterday he thought it was in very bad taste. He could not recall that at any other banquet, showing a major highlight, particularly with Morrison sitting in the audience. Laser told us that Robbie was so upset that he had tears in his eyes on the bus ride on the way back to the hotel. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Lopez Cow, and he just did keep his foot on the bag. Did Huff. Lopez Cow had a problem with this early in the season. Back then the problem was throwing it over the head of the first baseman on drop third strikes. He did it 3 times earlier in the year.
Well, he did a nice thing here. He got out in front of the plate to give himself an angle, and Huff was on the inside to give himself an angle so he doesn't hit the runner. But then Huff makes a real nice play, as first basemen are wont to do with a big stretch.
Well, you can see Lopez Cow kind of bouncing and measuring the throw, and they told us yesterday in our meetings that he had a very big problem with that earlier in the year, and he almost had it affect him again. Miami has not committed an error. The entire infield now huddled at the mound around Morrison and the pitching coach Laser Collazo. Miami trying to become the first team in 31 years to be the College World Series runner-up one year and the champion the next. Ohio State won the title back in 1966 after losing to Arizona in the '65 championship game. And the only other school to do it, Southern California, which lost to Minnesota in the 1960 championship game, then won the championship in '61. One of the 11 won by the Trojans more than any other school. Miami's won 2 titles in '82 and '85. Meanwhile, UCLA has never won College World Series game. 0-2 in their only previous appearance. All 3 UCLA appearances in the College World Series have gone into extra innings. Troy Gloss hit the game-tying 2-run homer with nobody out in the 9th.
Well, you can be sure that they're going to be very careful with him here, but you have to remember Eric Valent is coming up next, and he had 6 home runs in the regional, and he's a left-handed hitter. And he's been seeing left-handed pitching all day, and he can't wait to see a right-hander.
With the way Morrison has been blowing people away, I think he'd come right after the hitters, but looks like he's pitching around Gloss, and that is a risky proposition with Valent on deck.
Well, this came from the bench. There's no question about it. When your pitching coach goes out there and you throw 4 seriously wide balls, it's pitch around them time. But, you know, pitchers will tell you, how do you pitch around somebody? I either try to get him out or I walk him. Don't give him anything good. Oh.
After throwing 3 that weren't very close to the strike zone, he's dropped a couple of breaking balls in. Morrison's nickname is the Piranha because of his vicious, biting breaking ball. To get him. Maybe he's just trying to deke him with those first 3 pitches and lull him to sleep. Morrison has fanned 4. He's pitched 2 2/3 perfect innings. A terrific return to the World Series after the disaster of last year.
There's a double play.
3-3 the score. Top of the 12th. And interesting dynamics with the crowd here. We mentioned there's a nighttime session, and the ball game between Alabama and Mississippi State is scheduled to begin in 21 minutes. You'll see many of the fans who are here for the daytime session have left, but outside the stadium there are a lot of people who have tickets for the night session, and it is a separate admission. Milling about, they can't come in until this game is over. So they've been making announcements to the fans who are in the stadium. As soon as this game is over, please leave as quickly as you can. They can empty the house and then bring back the people in who have tickets for the night game. They've also been making announcements over the PA system loud enough for the folks who are outside the stadium to be kept abreast of what's going on inside. And they've been pleading for the patience of those people waiting outside. See Alabama and Mississippi State. So if you have to be in that kind of predicament, at least it's a beautiful night to enjoy the wait. Here's Rick Sagisi. We've mentioned his name several times. He's a terrific hitter. And he's batting for Esquivel with the right-handed pitcher finally on the mound. Sagisi at 304. 3 homers, 20 runs batted in. Sagisi's a sophomore from Naples, Florida. Last year he was a freshman All-American, has a terrific classic swing. Borderline strike, 1-1. Well, their fans might not be in the ballpark yet, but the Alabama Crimson Tide are enjoying the end of this ball game. They've been allowed in a little earlier than the start of the second session.
I don't know that they're enjoying it. I think they would be starting to get a little chomping at the bit.
Come on, get this over with so we can take center stage. Sagisi's life touched by tragedy when he was in high school. His family moved from Massachusetts to Florida in large part so that Rick could have a better chance to become an outstanding baseball player. His dad was pitching batting practice to his high school team in Naples when he was struck by a line drive, hit by one of Sagisi's teammates, and shortly thereafter Rick's dad passed away as a result of being hit in the head with a line drive. And Sagisi strikes out. That's the first out of the 12. Second strikeout for Jake Meyer, who has faced 4 batters.
Well, it looks like if we keep Meyer and Morrison in this ball game, we're going to be here for a while, because right now they're dominating the hitters. And like I said, with the shadows coming into play, the hitters aren't seeing the ball quite as well as they did earlier.
Three the score, 12th inning. Mike Lopez-Cow singled and walked. 1 for 4 last time up. He struck out in a big spot with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 10th. Miami left the bases loaded in the 10th and in the 11th. They've stranded 14 base runners and hit into a couple of double plays to end the 8th and 9th innings. Two and 0. He tried everything in that dugout. Rally caps, no caps. Sunglasses, no sunglasses. Yawns.
Hair, no hair.
I've tried both of those.
What works best?
Unfortunately, it's no longer a choice. 3-0 the count. This is Meyer's first year closing. He told us yesterday it was really only about the last third of the season that he felt comfortable as a closer. Felt he developed that mental toughness needed to finish ball games. Said it really happened in a series against Arizona State. He had warmed up a lot the night before, didn't get into the ball game. Woke up the next day, his shoulder was hurting. As he was warming up the next night, his shoulder still didn't feel right. He got put in the game, wasn't doing very well. He was kind of bemoaning to himself the fact that he warmed up too much the night before. Wound up losing that game, but he said that was the night he decided, well, enough of worrying about little things and not dealing with adversity. He's just going to bear down and go after the hitter regardless of the situation. And he's been a better closer since. Meyer's father, who passed away when Jake was 12 years old, played football at USC. Full count on Mike Lopez-Cow. 1 out and the base is empty. 12th inning of a 3-3 game. He's getting a little closer to fair territory. Senior golf tomorrow. The Ameritech Senior Open final round coverage here on CBS Sports comes your way from Kemper Lakes Country Club in Long Grove, Illinois, beginning at 2 Eastern time. And Dr. Gil Morgan has a one-shot lead on Hale Irwin heading to the final round outside Chicago. Fastball high. Second walk issued by Meyer. And 1 inning of relief. Eleven walks surrendered by Bruin pitchers today. And a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle, Mandy Giacomino, who has been a platoon left fielder dividing time with Walker, will come up to bat. Giacomino hitting .372. Tim Leary goes to the mound to chat with Meyer. Giacomino will undoubtedly remain in the ball game in left field when they go to the bottom of the 12th. Mandy's a senior, native of Miami, another player out of Westminster Christian High School, where he was a teammate of J.D. Arteaga, today's Miami starter, and Alex Rodriguez. He's had a rather circuitous path back to his native city. He went to Miami-Dade Community College North, then transferred to North Carolina State for his junior season. Led the ACC in hitting in the regular season last year, hit .384. Then his coach left. Coach Tanner went to South Carolina. So Mandy left, came back to Miami. So a lot of time in the on-deck circle. The fans were getting restless. Coach Morris threw the signs. Giacomino wasn't even looking at him, so Jim goes to vote again now that he has Mandy's attention. 3-3 the score, 1 out. Lopez Cow, not a fast runner at first. Miami and UCLA in the 12th inning. Fastball up and away.
He needs to give him the hit one far sign.
No pitch. He was trying to hit one a long way with that swing. Whenever Giacomino does something notable in a home game at Mark Light Stadium, public address announcer Jay Rokeach, who's been their PA man a long time, is in charge of the music played over the PA system, plays "Oh Mandy" by Barry Manilow. That's enough even if you're a Hurricane fan to hope he goes into a slump. We're just joking. Barry Manilow's a fine singer. For all you Barry Manilow fans out there, put the pen down. Strictly a weak attempt at humor.
You're going to get a letter from my wife.
Close, but a ball. And now Mandy in the driver's seat. This game now 4 hours and 8 minutes long. 52 minutes away from being the longest. Foul tip into the middle green. Big hack by Mandy Giacomino. Well, slow runner at first. Full count, 1 out.
You don't send him with a strikeout pitcher. No way. Especially with a pinch hitter, cold off the bench, 4 hours long. And there he goes.
And there he goes. That's ball 4. It's academic. Good chance for Green to throw him out, although as we mentioned, Green's not known for his defense. So back-to-back walks. That 5-hour game, the longest ever at the College World Series, was June 5th, 1981, Oklahoma State versus Arizona. And a long game like this, that's what happens to your scorecard. Coach Adams Made a lot of scratches on that scorecard in the UCLA dugout. Number 9 hitter Brad Brewer at the plate. 2 on with 1 out. The walks giving Miami another chance. I think if they get the bases loaded again, they may just decline it, like you decline a penalty in football. They left the bases loaded in the 10th and in the 11th. Now they have 2 men on here in the 12th. With the game still tied at 3. There hasn't been any scoring in extra innings. That's low. Meyer really struggling with his control, and as we noted when he first came in, when his numbers were on the screen, he does tend to issue a few too many walks.
Well, normally as a closer, he's out of the game by now. You know, now he's in maybe unfamiliar territory for him, pitching this long, and he may lose his sharpness.
Well, that's how you get away with 12 walks in 12 innings when the opponent is 0 for 12 and then in scoring position, as is the case for the Canes. That's ball 3. 3-0. He's in danger of loading the bases.
This is it. This is the scenario. Don't swing. Don't swing. Jim Morris put the take on. Don't swing.
No, he doesn't want the bases loaded again.
But then they don't swing.
Ryan Grimmett on deck. Right-hander Matt Klein warming up in the UCLA bullpen. Now the 3-0 to Brewer. Inside corner, a strike. There's Klein. He's pitched about 5 innings in the bullpen today. 3-1 pitch. High ball 4. He's walked 3 men in a row. And he has now walked 4 of the 7 batters he has faced, he being Jake Meyer. So here we go again. For the 3rd time in as many innings and extra innings, the bases are loaded for Miami. Ryan Grimmett due up, but looks like he might be sent back. He's taking his everyday leadoff hitter out of the ball game, it appears.
It's a little surprising because he'd be an awfully tough man to double up. And you know the middle infield is going to be playing in double play depth.
Herman Alvarez will be sent up to bat. He's a left-handed hitter. And they don't have any lefties in the bullpen, so Coach Morris knows Alvarez will have a chance to bat against a right-handed thrower, either Meyer or Klein. Once again, the pinch hitter taking a lot of time in the on-deck circle, and the fans are restless. Alvarez has appeared in 43 games this year, 19 of them starts. He's a .322 hitter, 2 homers, and 20 runs batted in. He's a junior from Carroll City, Florida. Junior college transfer from Brevard, CC, out of Hialeah Miami Lakes High School. First pitch painted the outside corner with strike 1. Time called before the pitch was thrown. Alvarez nodding his head in agreement. Due to the length of today's game, unfortunately, we'll have to leave the air in a few moments. This game is now an hour and a half, nearly an hour and a half past its allotted scheduled time. The ball missed, low. 1 ball and 1 strike. One out, bases loaded, a 3-3 game of the 12. There's a ball outside. Meyer really struggling with his control, and he can't afford another walk. He's walked 3 men in a row after striking out the leadoff hitter, Segisi. He's 1 ball away from his 4th straight walk and forcing in the go-ahead run.
So far, the strategy is working.
The UCLA pitchers have already walked 13 Hurricanes today. Myers 1 ball away from making it 14, giving Miami the lead, literally giving it to them. And he did. Ball 4. The Canes lead 4-3 in the 12th. Lopez Cowell forced in from third. And Tim Leary is on his way to the mound. So an RBI for Alvarez on the bases loaded walk, is 21st of the year. And the new pitcher will be right-hander Matt Klein, who's warmed up on several occasions in the bullpen today. JT Arteaga, the starter, still in the dugout. You can see the conclusion of this game on ESPN. And about 15 seconds along our CBS stations, we'll have to leave you well over our allotted time. But you can see the conclusion of this game on ESPN. So for those of you watching on CBS, we say so long from Rosenblatt Stadium, where Miami leads UCLA 4-3 in the 12th. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the NCAA College World Series.